Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Talk Radio. For those about to talk, we salute you. Talk Radio.
Dear listener, comedy legend Tommy Cannon is going to be on the show in about 3 minutes' time. Busy show this evening, guys. Don't call him for a bit. Let me just chat to Tommy. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
A laugh me a laugh, grin me a grin, and then I know that we can win. Dance me a dance, joke me a joke, and blow the clouds away. You gotta play me a tune, or sing me a song, and we can help push life along. Just you and me, come on and see, together we'll be okay. Open the door, open your heart, and then we got somewhere to start. Just turn around, look what we found. Today's a brand new day. You gotta run with me now, I'll show you how. The world is waiting to take a bow. Show them it's you, what you can do. Together we two can win. A rock on Tommy, dance to a tune that this guitar sings. A rock on Tommy, just get up and spread your wings. Spread your wings, follow me through into the sun, and we can smile at everyone. You gotta join in with me, then we are free. It isn't hard to do. I said life is a song, so just sing along, and then we know we can't go wrong. Just you and me, come on and sing. Together we'll be okay. Together we'll be okay.
Oh, man.
Together we'll be okay.
I swear to God, I've been so excited, right, since I knew that we had our next guest coming on. If you had told 10-year-old me 30 years ago that I'd be on a radio show, my own radio show, and I'd be inviting Tommy Cannon from Cannon and Ball on, well, I would have been the coolest kid in the playground. I am so thrilled. I've spent the last week watching Cannon and Ball, a little bit like a stalker, on YouTube. I'm just going to dive straight in. It's Tommy Cannon.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm so thrilled to talk to you. Honestly, this is a dream come true, Tom.
Oh, fantastic, mate. It's lovely to talk to you.
I've got to be honest, right? When you followed me on Twitter, at the Tommy Cannon, right,
yeah.
and we had a little private message, and I invited you on, and you said, I'd love to come on. I thought, that's a bit too easy.
No.
So I went to your website and I emailed the young lady that runs your website and I said, I've got this bloke on Twitter pretending to be Tommy Cannon. And she went, oh, no, that really is him. So, how are you doing, man? You all right?
Yeah, I'm great, mate. Yeah, smash it.
I have been watching, you've seen I've been tweeting loads of your stuff. I think it's hard for anybody under the age of, let's say, 30, 35, to remember just how big you two were on TV in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, I mean, even now, you know, we do panto and mums and dads come and they bring the children and stuff, and, you know, 7 and 8-year-olds are saying, do you know what, you two are really funny, why aren't you on telly? And it's hard to say, oh, we were on telly before you were born.
Years and years ago, I lived with a bloke called Mackenzie Crook, who's he's quite a famous comedian and writer.
Yeah.
And we saw a clip of you on the Wheel Tappers and Shunters.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the one where you end with, he ain't heavy, he's my brother.
Yeah.
And you carry Bobby. We became obsessed with that 10, 12-minute routine.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was stupid.
Yeah, I know.
It was nonsensical. And then at the end, boom, it was heartfelt and wonderful.
I know.
How did you come up with those acts? When you were doing the club? Let's go back to the beginning. How did you two first meet?
Well, I met Bobby at a welding factory, which is no longer there now, but it was at Borden Trailers, and there were 500 men on the shop floor.
Yeah.
I went there and got a job, and I was waiting by the clock where all the lads clock in and sort of things, and I was stood there waiting to be assigned to a job, and suddenly Bobby came in, clocked in, he were about 10 minutes late, and he was the first person to speak to him out of 500 guys on the shop floor.
Isn't that
He
funny?
just said, "Hello, mate." He said, "How you doing?" I said, "All right, Paul, yeah," and that were it, and he'd gone. And it was, I don't know, I'm a great believer in fate.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, it was really strange because, you know, we carried on sort of, he was in the welding bay, I was a fitter welder, and we just sort of hit it off. And one day he just said to me, he said, I'm singing at a working men's club, he said, this weekend. He said, do you want to come down? And I said, I will do. And you got to remember now, when he asked me the question of making a double act,
Yeah.
I was absolutely shocked.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, all I'd ever wanted to be all my life was a great footballer or a great cricket player or something to do with sport.
So you had no desire to get up on the stage. It wasn't something that was itching at you. He just asked, and you thought, "Yeah, all right, I'll give it a go."
No desire at all. The only time I ever sang was when we went to Blackpool years ago when we won a league cup or something, amateur league cup. We all went to Blackpool on this coach, which in them days took about 4 hours.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I'd had 2 or 3 pints, the lads would always say, "Come on, Tom, get up and give us a song." But I couldn't do it if I was stone cold sober.
And you were the first double act. Have I got this right? You were just singers. You two were just straight singers.
We sang for about, before we even went into comedy, we sang for about 12, 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the only reason we went on to comedy was the fact that we were in a working men's club and we'd done our show, and there was a comedian on with us, and we go into the committee room to pairs, and he's counting out the money, and he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pounds to the comedian, and we got 6. And there were 2 of us. And so I said to the comedian after when we were coming out, I said, "Hey," I said, "how come you got more money than us?" I said, "There's 2 of us." He said, "You do comedy, Tom." He said, "You get more money."
Oh, beautiful.
And that was it. We started to turn to comedy.
So after 12 years, and it was working men's clubs, I guess, with the places you're playing.
It were pubs first,
Right.
and then it were working men's clubs. And then it was, what can I say? Then the nightclubs came into, in the 70s, the nightclubs were an absolute boom because you could work 53 weeks a year. There were that many nightclubs. And then at the end of the 70s, it was like somebody had switched the lights off.
Yeah.
All the nightclubs closed down and they all became discos.
Who are your comedy heroes, Tom? Who do you look up to?
Well, comedy heroes, for me, were all, funny enough, it's strange, isn't it? But they were all double acts.
Yeah.
Like, I can go back with Lola Nardi, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello.
Yeah.
All these greats. I mean, I loved Eric and Ernie. It was a strange thing with me. I remember going to see Lola Nardi sat on an orange box in a cinema and paid 2 to get in.
And here's the joy, Tom, right? I grew up watching Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah.
I've got 2 boys who are 7 and 5.
Yeah.
They love Laurel and Hardy. Some of those films are nearly, they're 100 years old.
Yeah.
And that stuff doesn't age at all, does it?
It doesn't age because it's family entertainment.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't age. You know, we have fans now from when we were there. They're now grandmas and granddads.
Yeah.
And they're still coming to see us. I was with a chap last night who was an ex-policeman, lovely fella. We had a couple of beers together, and he said, "Tommy," he said, "I came to see you and Bobby," he said, "in Bournemouth," he said. I said, "Blimey, that's years back." He said, "I'll tell you how long it was." He said, 1977. I went, "Oh, man, I don't believe it." Because me and Bobby have been together now 54 years.
Blimey. I mean, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
How did you... how quickly? Because I've been watching loads of clips over the past week or so, from like the early 70s right through to the the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
How quickly did you establish that relationship? I tell you what, because there's an even earlier Wheel Tappers and Shunters. You can see the relationship, but it's not as well defined and developed. The 2 characters aren't as well defined as it would become a bit later on.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was, we were looking, you know, for quite a while doing the comedy, we were looking for a character for Bobby, because even when I worked with Bob, he was funny.
Yeah.
And it's what you call, you know, he's got funny bones. And so he said, look, I'm going to wear a baggy suit, you know, and I have to tell you, at one time, he used to stand up with the punters coming in the club.
Yeah, oh, really?
Him, you see, because we weren't on telly. And he used to say to him, hey, I'm coming to see my mate, he's a big star, he's a singer.
Oh, so he'd sit in the audience for the whole thing until you came on?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. And then he used to come from the audience with a camera around his neck. Hey, can I take a picture, Tommy? I love Tommy, he's my hero. And that's how it started to form, this friendship thing, you know. It was, I mean, I have to tell you, Ian, the amount of times that I've been battered over the head with a woman's brolly or a woman's handbag, I can't tell you. We were in St. Peter's Square, and we were doing a song called Let Your Braces Dangle. And this woman was looking at me with hatred, and I'm singing this song, and I'm thinking, wonder what's wrong with her. we finished the song, we got this round of applause, there were like about 500 people in the square, and as I'm walking past her, she whacked me with this bike. Oh, on top of my head, and she kept whacking me. I said, what are you doing? She said, I hate you, you're a horrible person, you're always bullying Bobby. And I said, no, listen, love, it's an act.
It's an act?
Yeah, I don't mean it. I don't mean to, you know. And so, you know, them sort of things have gone on. I think I'm the only act that's been hated for 54 years.
Well, there's a few I could name, but I won't. When did the huge break happen? When did you suddenly get the LWT series, the ITV series?
Funnily enough, the LWT series, there was a man by the name of David Bell who's now died, God bless him.
Yeah.
And David Bell, we went up into Scotland to do we did a theatre show, that was it, and there was a big Scottish star on the show. He was massive in Scotland, but he never came down to England.
Yeah.
So he's on the bill, and Bobby, and we're on supporting him. So we go on, and this chap is stood in the corridor as we come off, going back to the dressing room. And he stood there and he said, very nice, boys. And that's all he said to us, last we've seen of him. Through the years, we'd had Michael Grade come looking at us, and always the same now. Yeah, they're good, but they're not ready yet.
Yeah.
And we auditioned at the Prince of Wales Theatre in London for Michael Grade in the bar with a guy on a piano for the Sacha Distel show, and we got the same reply again. Yes, they're very good, but Sacha Distel comes from the audience, so no, we can't use them. It was all those sort of things, but we didn't realise that Michael had also been to nightclubs unknowns to us.
Right, okay.
Sort of keeping an eye on us.
Yeah.
And then we got a contract with LWT, and would you believe the man we met in Scotland years back was the head of Light Entertainment.
Was he really?
David Bell.
How funny.
Yeah, and he helped us tremendous, because as you can well imagine, in cabaret and in clubs, you're all over the stage, you know, because you're trying to grab the audience because they're drinking and they're eating.
Oh, of course, you've got to work hard.
And so when we went into television, we'd such a lot to learn, because we had marks to walk to.
Yeah.
And we'd never had marks to walk to, and we had to stay on them because of the cameras. And it was a really weird experience. David Bell made it happen for us.
I did a series at that building about 15 years ago. They just announced today they're selling that building, the LWT building.
Yes.
Getting rid of it.
Yeah.
So much history in there.
Oh, there's so much history, I can't tell you. And of course, in them days as well, you had the same crew.
Yeah, of course.
Week in, week out, same makeup girls. It were like a massive family. And of course, things have changed. Now everybody works for themselves, you know.
I tell you what surprised me watching some of the old sketches. How long they go on for.
Yeah, I know.
Because now, thanks, I guess, to the Far Show, if a sketch is more than 90 seconds, it feels like it's dragging. I watched that, I remember this as a kid, and I remember the punchline, and I remember rolling on the floor in hysterics, and even my old man went, yeah, that was good, that was. And he, that was good, that was. The invisible snooker table. Oh, mate, and it's 9 minutes long.
I know it is, but do you notice when the snooker show's all over,
Yeah.
and Steve is stood at the side of us,
Yeah.
and we're taking a bow, right?
Yeah.
Look at it again, because he stood there taking a bow, still holding the invisible cue. It's incredible.
It's funny, isn't it? Because sometimes you go back and you look at stuff that you laughed at when you were younger, and you go, well, it's kind of cute, and it's, mate. Honestly, I was showing it to my producer Catherine. We were both in hysterics. That snooker sketch doesn't.
We do another routine live, and I take Bobby on at table tennis. And in a live show.
Already it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. It's so funny. Yeah.
How much fun was it? I mean, obviously a lot of work, but how much fun was it doing those shows? Were you able to enjoy it while you were doing it?
Yeah, it was all fun. It was unbelievable. I can't tell you how, if you like, how well we were looked after at LWT, because they knew that we'd come from clubs, and we hadn't got that experience. It was the same when we did a theatre. The first theatre we did was Bradford Alhambra Theatre, and the silence frightened us to death. Because there's no drinking, no nothing. They just sat down.
Yeah, it's a proper theatre for a proper show. Yeah.
So we walked out and we were stumbling. Good evening. The noise had gone. And it was absolutely frightening. I mean, like anything, eventually you get used to doing the theatres, and of course, after you've done the theatres, you don't want to go back to a rowdy audience anymore. Yeah.
There was another sketch as well that I'd forgotten about, but people remind the one with Rick Mail.
Yeah, Rick.
And do you know what? Again, we were in hysterics. I watched it 3 times in a row, Tom, honestly, because there were so many different little things happening.
Yeah.
And I had forgotten how surreal your show was. You know the joke at the end, don't forget the door. I won't forget it. And you pick the door up and walk out of it.
I know.
It's because a lot of people compare Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer with Morecambe and Wise.
Yeah.
I think they owe a lot more to you after watching a load of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, most double acts, there's always the sort of straight guy comic.
Yeah.
It's always sort of been that way. I think Bob and I and we still have got this strong relationship, where when he's on stage with me, I feel like he's my little brother.
Yeah.
So there's that bond there that, we started with absolutely one car between us, struggling like a lot of acts did in them days and everything. And, it's amazing. I have to tell you this too, Ian.
Yeah.
We've just been awarded the Legend double act in comedy television.
Fantastic. Come on. Well done.
28th of September.
Well deserved as well.
Yeah, we've just been awarded that, by the Variety Club.
Do you ever I've got this theory, and tell me if you think I'm way off the mark, right?
Yeah.
If you'd been on BBC One, you'd have been knighted, or you'd have a lot more respect, I think, than perhaps you do.
Yeah, I think.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, I totally agree with you, because the strangest thing of all is when we left LWT, BBC actually wanted us. And whatever went on between management and whatever, we don't really know, because we went to Yorkshire Television from LWT and started doing sort of, I don't know, we started doing things that we weren't known for. We did a situation comedy and I don't know.
You did a game show as well or something, didn't you?
We did a game show, which, once again, it was a really weird time, a really difficult time. And then, of course, Yorkshire Television started to close down. Yeah. So there's not a lot done from Yorkshire Television anymore. But, I mean, we've had a fantastic career, I was only saying to Bob, it was Bob that rang me up only yesterday or the day before and said, we've been awarded Legendary Comics of TV. I said, oh, fantastic. That's unbelievable. So,
and to get it while you're still alive, Tom, as well. Exactly. That's the bonus. You normally get those things when you've stuffed it.
You're not wrong.
I've got... what was funny about watching these clips, right, is... I can see the sketches appeal to adults, but you can see why they appeal to kids as well. And people were doing all the catchphrases in the playgrounds. You had a comic strip in Looking magazine, and it's because it's like you're sort of the stern uncle, and Bobby, Bobby's like a lunatic 9-year-old.
It is. That's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, when I don't think we realised that just in them days, and I don't think you do, because we were in a daze. I mean, we used to do we'd do a Christmas pantomime, then we'd do a spring tour, then we'd do a 20-odd week summer season, and in between that we'd probably do a summer special on TV. Yeah. We'd do a Christmas special, summer season, autumn tour, back into pantomime, and we did that for about 12 years.
Yeah. Oh, it's relentless and exhausting.
It was, but when I think back, it was so good. It was so good, we enjoyed it. I couldn't tell you. At that time, I don't think we could have had a better job. It was brilliant.
I've got a soft spot for The Boys in Blue as well. The movie, if I remember correctly, it didn't do as well as perhaps you would have wanted it to.
No, I suppose Boys in Blue was a Will Ayres movie, and it was recommended to us, and we were shown it, and we said, well, come on, let's do it. Let's give it a go. It was, how can I say, as a video, it was up there with the best.
Yeah.
As a movie, for the general public to go and see, I think it was seen, but mostly, I think, by Cannonball fans.
Yeah.
They loved it. And I have to tell you, I play it now and again, and I put it on, and I think to myself, when I see it, I think, do you know, it weren't that bad.
No, it's not. I was watching it tonight.
There were some good bits. And I mean, the actors that we had with us, they were legendary.
You got John Pertwee in there, you got Roy Kinnear, Suzanne Danielle.
I mean, they were legendary people, so it was great for me and Bob, because we were in awe of them people, and we learned, they taught us so much.
You're still working, and I know you're still working. How many shows are you doing a year now, Tom? What kind of stuff are you up to?
We just finished a 12-night tour with a play, Bob. It's really funny. We do it's set in a dressing room with another door on the side that leads us out into the audience to do our show, to do a Cannonball show, or to do Stu Francis or a Johnny Casson show, because they're on the show with us. But the first half is all about the banter that goes on in dressing rooms when you come in.
Beautiful.
It's cold, switch the light on, and then Johnny Casson will come in, and then Stu, and then Bob will come in, and all that. So it's a play written around our variety shows.
How fantastic.
Yeah, and it's a really good show, and with some more dates are going in summer.
Yeah.
We've got what have we got to do? Well, we've got 5 or 6 gigs in March.
Yeah.
Then we get a break again. We don't know yet. Oh, yeah, we think, I suppose I shouldn't be telling you this, but I will. I think we're going to go to the North Pier in Blackpool.
Oh, beautiful.
In the summer.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so, we're still busy. We do Panto every year, So, we're still doing okay.
I've got to tell you, man, when I said that you were coming on the show...
Yeah.
We had the biggest response out of any of the guests I've had. The affection that is out there for you, and I'm sure you're aware of it. But I just want you to know, because we don't tell. I don't think we tell our kind of heroes and our comedians how much we love them. The affection that is out there for you, Tom, and for Bobby, it is absolutely overwhelming. Yeah, well, I get a lot of followers on Twitter, saying, we're going to start a campaign to get you back on telly, and I think it's absolutely lovely. If only, I did a minor TV show years ago, and people say to me, why don't you go back on TV? And I think, oh yeah, it's that easy. I'll phone up Channel 4 tomorrow, and it don't work like that, unfortunately, does it? Cause it doesn't. It's a strange, what can I say? It's a strange media now, TV. Yeah. It's sort of like you get a lot of you get a clutch of people all doing the same thing. They'll do sort of a show in the morning, then they'll go and do a quiz show, and then they'll do something else, and then they'll go and do another quiz show. And all the shows, the same sort of clutch of people that do it. All the shows are made by 15-year-old children. Honestly, you go in for I don't really get many meetings. You go in for a meeting though, and it's kids. Yeah, I know. Listen,
here's a true for you, right?
Yeah, go on.
I remind you, rang up London Palladium to go on to the London Palladium show, live from the London Palladium.
Yeah.
And the producer or whoever it was querying our manager. He said, do you think the boys are still up to doing the wall routine? And Phil said, well, yeah. He said, they do it in panto. He said, I think they're up to it. And I what's the name? I spoke to him. I said, you don't think we're up to it? I said, I tell you what. I said, for every year I'm older than you. I said, give me a hard start. I said, and I'll leave you for dead. Well, he went, yeah. Well, anyway, needless to say, we didn't get the show. but it's just one of those things. I think people think when you get to a certain age, you've had it.
No,
but Bob and I are still. Song we're still doing.
People do think that, and I think funny is funny.
Yeah,
and
totally,
what you've got is unique, and it doesn't date, man. It doesn't date at all.
No, it doesn't. And I listen. To try to get Tom and Bob on TV, our manager does a great job.
Yeah.
He goes out there, he goes and has meetings. And what about Cannon a Ball? And they go, Cannon and who?
Yeah, I know, and that breaks my heart.
Yeah, it does me too.
I bet it does. I bet it breaks yours more than it does mine. Tom, listen, I could chat to you all night. I'm going to let you go, because I know you're getting on a bit, Tommy. I don't... I'm teasing.
Hey, I've got to have my Horlicks.
I don't... I've just had some Andrew's liver salts, and I'm worried I've had too much. Anyway... listen, I'm gonna keep in touch, Tom. Me and my producer Catherine, we're gonna come and see one of your shows this year.
Fantastic.
And we'll come and say hello afterwards.
Yeah, let us know when you're coming.
Yeah, we will do, man. And thank you for the laughs, Tom.
No worries, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Actual, proper comedy legend, Tommy Cannon. As nice as I'd imagined, nicer. Oh God, I've got a little crush. I've got a little crush on Tommy Cannon. I hope you enjoyed that, dear listener, as much as I did. Well, honestly, I could have spoken to... I hardly scraped the surface. And I've got no questions written out. I've got nothing. I didn't go on Wikipedia. All I did was watch the sketches and watch the film. That's it. That's all I did. And you just and that guy, he got stories pouring out of him. Barely touched the surface, man. Okay, listen, busy show tonight. You can start calling in now if you want. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. Dredge, who's a regular contributor to the show, sent me a brilliant question for tonight. And I think this is great. Because I can only think, I bet there are only about 5 people that fit this criteria. People that can make you laugh without doing anything. Because Bobby Ball, you watch those Bobby Ball clips, in a lot of them, he's just stood there with his hands on his side, looking, not doing anything, and you're laughing out loud. The other one, Tommy Cooper. Frankie Howard, yeah, Frankie Howard could do it with just a look. Frankie Howard could have me giggling with just a look. That's 3. Any more? Any more for any more? You said you want topics. Eric Morecambe, there we go, 4. There's got to be one more. It's such a skill to get an entire audience laughing without saying a word. It's a gift, isn't it? I tell you what, you want topics, you got topics. There's your topic. 0344 499 1000. You can, of course, with this show, as always, call in about absolutely anything you want. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Oh, man alive. You've just tuned in. You've missed Tommy Cannon. It will go out as a special podcast tomorrow. Catherine joins me in the studio. Mm-hmm. What? I mean, I don't want to do it. It's not like, it's not Stan Laurel, But flipping heck, I grew up... We weren't allowed to watch many ITV shows, but I grew up watching that, and you'd go into school the next day, everyone would be doing the Rock On, Tommy.
That was Saturday night at my granddad's.
Yeah.
And everyone was watching it.
And I wanted to ask, they got like 20-odd million viewers. 20-odd million viewers. More. They had a comic strip in Looking magazine. It's just insane to think how big they were.
The other thing is, watching it up north, seeing two lads from up north on the television, you know, you can't...
Was it a bit of a thing?
It was a big deal, you know, hearing people with an accent a bit like you. I mean, not the same, but, you know, not a southern accent on the telly.
And we were watching, I kept, you were trying to work yesterday, I kept saying, watch this clip, watch this sketch. And they were all just delightful.
Yeah.
Apart from the song about the Pakistanis. But that Rick Mail clip, it is just insane. And Rick Mail and Bobby Ball trying to outdo each other.
And you can see, you know, the buds of different characters that Rick Mail would end up, you know, impersonating for the rest of his career.
And the snooker sketch, honestly, it's 9 minutes long, right? If you've got, it doesn't feel like 9 minutes. And I haven't seen it since it went out in 1982, I think. So I would have been 9. And I remembered the payoff. I remembered the payoff perfectly. I remember thinking it was genius. And my dad going, yeah, it was very clever. It was very good, that. And basically, Cannon and Davis, Tommy Cannon and Steve Davis, are pretending there's an invisible snooker table.
And it's really serious. You know, they're taking it really seriously. They're chalking the queue and everything.
They want to win some money off Bobby. And there's a brilliant bit. And Bobby's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he knows there's not a table there. But there's a brilliant bit where he goes to punch Steve Davis and Tommy Cannon blocks him. So Bobby Ball runs around this invisible snooker table and then tries to get him like that.
Something else that really jumped out at me watching those, I mean, and they are old clips now. That's the shocking thing, the really old clips. How young they both were.
Yeah.
They were both younger than us in those pictures.
Yeah.
And, because I remember Tommy still doing that act, and he must have been 50, 60 years old. But when you see him doing it as a young man, he was so cute. You know, he was really cute. Yeah. He had a wicked glint in his eye. There was an extra something going on.
And there's a weird thing. And I must admit, I bought into it. Okay. So I put my hand up and I bought into it. And maybe, where that kind of comedy became perceived as naff and dated. And it is. Everything is of its time, and then you move on to the next thing, and then you move on to the next thing, which looks back to two things. You know, I was probably one of the ones that bought into buying it, would look naff, and the bow ties and the dress suits and all of that stuff.
You mean the crushed velvet?
It's a bit, I thought it was a bit cheesy, but it's not. It's not. It's brilliant, and it is funny. You know, they are both so funny.
The thing is, you get a sense of perspective, right? So, yeah, of course, every generation thinks that what they're laughing at is funnier and cleverer than what their parents were laughing at. Yeah. But then you look at some of the stuff we were laughing at in the 1990s. It ain't funny anymore, is it? No. And then you look back at what they were doing, you think, oh, hang on a minute, there was a vein there running through.
And also, the hours of experience, 12 years as a singing double act before they cottoned on that they might make more money doing comedy. What is it? Who's the gentleman? I interviewed him. He's got curly hair. Malcolm Gladwell. Tipping Point. The Tipping Point man. He wrote a book about Tipping Point. Right. Malcolm, he's an American. I interviewed him for The One Show. And it was an embarrassing interview because he's like this great intellectual, and we're doing like a 30-second interview with him for The One Show. And he has this theory that to get supremely good at something, you've got to put in 10,000 hours, which is why the Beatles seemed to be so good so quickly, because they played thousands of hours in Germany.
When they started out, they were ropey and they were told to max shout.
Yeah. And they literally thousands of hours in Germany, you know. And the same with that. You've done 12 years as singers, so that's however many hundreds of hours. Then you got the years as comedians getting nowhere. So the time that you put into that, you get all these skills.
But the thing is, these days, they're not given the chance to do that.
No. Well, with things like X Factor, I mean, there's not an equivalent for comedy. Oh, actually, there is, because you will get producers that go to comedy clubs and they'll pick up kids who are 19, 20, 21 years old, you know.
Doesn't Radio 2 do a young comedian?
Yeah. And there used to be like a thing in stand-up that if you only had a 10-minute set, 20-minute set, and you went on TV and did it, well, then that set was killed because everyone had seen it. Yeah. But they don't seem to worry about that anymore, and so people will just go on. And that brilliant line he was saying, Michael Gray saying, "They're good, they're not ready," and that's brilliant. They're good, but they're not ready.
But that wasn't the end of it. Do you know what? These days, they're good, they're not ready. They would never get looked at again.
No. Oh, man, I've got calls coming. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. We call you back. I just think we Catherine and I have kind of come to this sort of semi-unspoken agreement that we have spoken about it. We want to salute, 2016 was such a big year for people dying, and heroes and stuff that we grew up watching and stuff. I think I want to look these people in the eye, literally or metaphorically, and just say thank you, man. Like at the end, I was being sincere. Thank you for the laughs. I wish we got Paul Daniels on this show. I wish we got Paul sat on that sofa doing some card tricks for us, and I would have loved that. He would have loved that, and we never got the chance to do it. So I'm determined now to get as many of, let's call them acts of a certain generation. And that might sound a bit disparaging and rude. I don't mean it to.
No, we're not sort of trying to do an extension to God's waiting room in here,
but they're older, and who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what? Steve Hewlett died at 56, 58, I think it was. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? Let's get these people that we love, and instead of after they've died going, oh God, they were so great, and you have a night, BBC 4 does a whole night dedicated to the comedy of Cannon and Ball, or let's do it now,
right? Because that will happen.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Tommy Cannon's sitting at home, knowing that there are executives there who don't have a flipping clue who he is.
Let's do it now. Let's get these people. Let's shake their hands. Let's pat them on the back. Let's lift them above our heads and say, you people are funny. You people are brilliant songwriters. You people are brilliant singers. Let's say it to them. Let's celebrate their lives while they're still alive. Love that. We got phone calls and I should shut up. 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee.
Late Night Iain Lee. Unfiltered night talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
You can watch the show on Periscope, periscope.tv/Iain Lee. I'm stood up for I'm a little bit buzzy tonight. Partly the medication.
Partly the Andrews.
Partly the Andrews liver salts. Oh, yeah. You've got to be careful with that. Partly the buzz of talking to Tommy Cannon. 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee. Cleo! Hey!
Mate, I'm buzzing. That was class. I'm like proper grinning like a little...
Oh, mate, you and me both. It's honestly, 10-year-old me has been well looked after this evening. Wasn't he just as delightful? And I could have spoken to him all night, Cleo. I
could have listened all night, mate. I've got the sloppiest grin on my face. I can't believe it.
Good. And there's loads of people saying, listen, if you're tweeting me to say that was great, brilliant, include at the Tommy Cannon, because that will make his night to see those tweets at the Tommy Cannon. Because the best response I've had in ages to an interview. Include him at the Tommy Cannon, because it will blow him away. I know it will.
It was mint, totally mint. Even when I was a kid, I had Rock on Tommy braces.
Yeah,
you had Rock on Tommy on them.
Wow.
But everybody who's ever worn a pair of braces
has done that.
Has done the Rock on Tommy. Everybody's done it. You can't put on a pair of braces and not do Rock on Tommy.
And my brother even used to pull them and release them.
God.
Like Tommy used to.
Well, and I hope you squealed, me piggy nipples!
Me piggy nipples! That was class. It was like, I was thinking, like, did they get any money from the merch from them or what? I don't know.
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not letting them go. We're gonna follow this up, Claire. Me and Kath are gonna go and see him at, whether it's in Blackpool. I'd love to go and see him in Blackpool, proper old school.
I mean, yeah.
But we'll go and see them, and we'll see if we can get an interview with both of them as well at some point. See if we can do a nice little Cannon and Ball special.
I'll be blinding. And your idea about celebrating people who are still knocking around, that's a class idea.
I need to find I want to find a way of phrasing it that doesn't sound quite like, well, we think you're going to die soon, so we want to say, well done. Because that's what it sounds like, and I guess to an extent that's what it is. So I need to kind of get the vocabulary to just say, to make it sound less
we'll just say that we're celebrating classic entertainers.
But then classic makes it sound like a classic car, and it's...
Well, I'd rather be a classic car than an old banger.
I don't know, maybe... we've got Bernie We're talking to Bernie Clifton tomorrow. That'll go out later in the week, which is excellent. We've got to play a song. Bernie has insisted we play a song from his album, The Voice of Bernie Clifton, which I'm holding.
He's as mad as a box of frogs.
Mate, I met him when I was 9 years old. At the same, he was on the same episode of Swap Shop that I was in the audience for, that the Carpenters were on, and Bernie Clifton was there, and I got a signed photo of Bernie Clifton, I think. So
the Carpenters,
yeah, mate, the Carpenters. Oh yeah, I'm old enough. I've seen the Carpenters. I've sat probably about 4 foot away from Karen Carpenter.
Bloomin' Nora.
Yeah, I know. Suddenly I'm cool, huh, kids?
You're hip.
They gave away. They didn't sing. They played a video, I think, for their Beachwood 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 song, and they did one bit together. Then they went off, and then she came back. And he didn't come back because he had a migraine, drugs, and they gave they gave away an Astro Wars. Do you remember Astro Wars?
Oh!
They gave away.
That's the noise that says he remembers.
What it means is they rocked up and they didn't have anything to give away. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I used to love that. They gave away an Astro Wars. And Bernie Clifton was on the same one, and so was Sarah Brightman. And I couldn't go and ask her for an autograph because I thought she was too beautiful.
She was.
Have you ever watched an Astro Wars video on YouTube?
No. Why would I do that?
Just for the noise.
Well, I remember it. I remember that halfway through the game it said good, didn't it? The score changed to good. And I thought that my Astro Wars were broken because my mum had bashed it with a door. And I went, oh, you've broken it now? And she went, no, it's saying good. You're doing good. I was like, oh, yeah, wicked. And you get the... Did you have those the adapters that you had to plug in?
Of little,
like it was like a swastika. It was like a electric swastika. It had like about 6 different fittings coming off the side, and you plugged into the socket. An electric swastika. Great name for a band. Brave, bold name for a band.
Not these days. It's becoming very usual.
Milo. Have you seen Milo's logo?
No.
Oh,
right,
no.
Look at his statement where he says he's quit from Breitbart, right? By the way, guys, everyone's celebrating and dancing on the grave of Milo, right? This ain't nothing. He's going to go and work for Trump. That's my prediction. And the book will still get published, okay? And he'll come out and talk about how he was sexually abused. Don't worry, he'll turn this around. But his logo, the first thing I looked at it was I thought knob. Then I thought swastikas. And it's not, but there's just something in the font, in the typeface, the fact he's got his own logo, I think sums up the noncing little Nazi quite well. But, it's just something about it that you think, oh, that's a bit.
I feel a bit like that at the Twitter Moments, logo thing with the...
Yeah. Oh,
have you seen it?
Twitter, well,
it's like a flash.
The flash?
Yeah,
it's like David Bowie.
Yeah, it looks a bit...
You think it looks a bit SS?
A little bit, yes. A little bit,
Well, I thought, I thought it was like, the Ziggy Stardust. But also, you talk about the SS, of course, KISS, the KISS logo, it looks like SS. And in Germany, they're not allowed to use that logo. They have to have smooth S's, because it's reminiscent of that. Now, they say it's not SS, but logo was designed by Ace Frehley, the guitarist, who did collect a lot of Nazi memorabilia. But there's a lot of flirting with Nazism in rock and roll. David Bowie, when there's a picture of him giving a Zeke Heil. There was a period in about 76, 77 when he's talking about how what we need is a Führer. We need a powerful Führer to come and take control of everybody, and fascism is the answer. So there's, Was
that him trying to court controversy?
No, that was him off his gourd on cocaine.
Yeah.
This was at the same time that he lived in LA. This is how nuts he was, right? Cocaine hallucinations are crazy. This is how nuts he was. He lived in this apartment, in a hotel room in Los Angeles, on cocaine. And there were symbols, like mystic symbols, drawn all over the wall. And he'd drawn a door into the wall. And he believed that if he, at the right time of the night, and if he recited the right things, and, he could pass through that door into another dimension.
Magic portals, eh?
The man who stare
It's mad, isn't it? I don't like David Bowie's music, but I do like reading about David Bowie. And also, I heard a David Bowie song I liked.
Oh, really?
And I heard it before. I know it. It's a famous song.
I love Bowie, me.
I heard it and I went, oh, I quite like this.
I think he's written some belters. I've never been mad on him, though. And
it's a good introduction as well. Shall I sing the introduction, Claire? Yeah. Oh, the dog, I love you so. Wow, yeah.
So you need some tunes.
David Bowie's on the internet. I'm David Bowie on the internet.
You see, the problem I had was that
looking up Nazi memorabilia.
the thing is about David Bowie is that by the time I became aware of him, he was a dad band. Do you know what I mean? He was,
Tin Machine.
Well,
no wrong with dad band.
No, but what I'm saying is, he was like
he was like Ocean Colour Scene, wasn't he?
He was just a little bit.
Ocean Colour Scene.
You do not.
You do not.
Well, I'm sort of.
No one loves Ocean Colour Scene. Some people like the album. Some people like the album Moseley Shoals, but nobody loves the Ocean Colour Scene.
You'll be telling me the Lighthouse Family's good now.
No, I think you might have to stay outside and have a word about yourself for that one. So. Well, I'm not having that one.
Did we get to the point of your call?
Yes.
Thanks for calling,
that's
caller.
a novelty.
That's a novelty. Who's this?
Iain.
Hey.
I love the Tommy Cann interview. Absolutely brilliant.
He was great, wasn't he? What a nice man. What a humble man. And boy, we should all be as gracious as he is.
Yeah, one of my favourite comedians, him and Bobby Ball.
Yeah, Cannon and Ball, as we came to know and love them.
I grew up watching them on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
And they did a game show as well.
You mentioned the game show, and I vaguely remember it, and I vaguely remember it not working particularly well, because that's not what they were.
Cannonball's Casino.
That was it, yeah.
I think it was a bit of a gamble which didn't pay off.
Wasn't it? There was a great documentary series that was a little bit pea-takey about 7 years ago. I think was it called The Comedians? And it followed Bernie Clifton, The Crankies, Stu Francis and Leo Sayer. Do you remember that?
No.
It's a great series.
Leo Sayer, a comedian?
Well, this is he acted like one in it. And it was a little... the tone... It was a good show, but the tone of it was... Look at these people from a long time ago as they struggle on their failing careers. That was the kind of tone of it.
Wow.
And it was a shame, but I would pay top dollar to see either a sketch. Imagine a sketch show where you got Cannon and Ball, you got Bernie Clifton, you got these people just doing sketches or something. I'd watch a fly on the wall documentary following Cannon and Ball around for 6 episodes.
Why don't they do a live at the Apollo with all these guys?
Oh, mate, that would be Michael McIntyre's Comedy Roadshow. And instead of going, right, tonight we've got, that blonde
Sarah
lad.
Milligan.
We said we've got Sarah, well, she's good, but instead of saying we've got
another kid in
Russell
a t-shirt.
Howard. We haven't got Russell Howard. We were going to have... who puts the chocolate on the pillows? I don't know. Right, we were going to have Russell Howard, but it's got the ball! And then they come out, and they would absolutely slay it. They would slay. It's like when Slade, I was watching this great documentary about Slade, right? And Slade went off the boil, and they hadn't had a hit. Their last gig was them miming at something, and they went, you know what? This ain't working. It's over. And they quit. And like Dave Hill, the guitarist, was going to start, and I think he started it, a company where he would rent him and his Rolls Royce out as like a limousine, and you could hire Dave Hill. And like a week after that, their manager phoned up and said, look, I've got you a gig, guys. I think you should do it. And if it goes well, and it was the headlining band had pulled out of Reading, the Reading Festival. And they gave it to Slade. And Slade were like, well, it's like 100,000 people. They're not going to hear us. And they went on stage, and the first couple of songs, they're getting bottles chucked at them, and they're getting, F off, Slade. 3 songs in, everybody was singing. Everybody was singing. And you know
why? Because they know how to work a crowd, because they've earned their spurs.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Alan, because they've put in the hours, and they've got the tunes. Cannon and Ball, they've put in the hours, they've got the gags. When he says, oh yeah, we do a table tennis... I was laughing at the thought of them pretending to play table tennis. You could just imagine the ball whizzing past Bobby Ball, and he's going, what happened? I hit it. No, you didn't. It's gone past. You're right. Imagine if someone had the balls, the cojones at the BBC to do that.
But it would be like, okay, they've been doing it for a while now. You mentioned Slade there. It's not actually unusual these days for someone, a veteran artist, to headline a big festival. Dolly Parton does it. It's not even for a laugh anymore.
Yeah.
These people come on and they start selling records again because it's a whole other generation. Why hasn't someone realised that comedy can work that way as well?
Should we listen? We're not going to change the will of TV people. I know that much, but let's, and we're not going to turn their careers around. It sounds like their careers are chugging along beautifully, but let's just get our thinking caps on and just wouldn't it be nice if there was something we could do? I don't know. Dear listener, you can call in tonight. You want topics? You got topics. I tell you a topic. People that can make you laugh without doing anything. We've got 4 so far. I will recap them after the news. When have you helped out a brother? I helped a brother out today in the hairdressers. I'll tell you about that. But you know the score. Just because we are easing topics back into the show at the request of some of you, it doesn't mean you have to call in about the aforementioned topics. You know how this show works. You can call in about absolutely anything you want. It can be in the news. It can be something that happened to you today. It can be about Tommy Cannon. It can be absolutely anything you want. There is not a radio show like this anywhere in the world, and it may not be here forever. So come and get it while it's hot. Now's a good time to call. Got no calls lined up. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. The way it works is you phone up, you'll speak to either Ed or Catherine. They will take your name and number, they will call you back, and I will speak to you after the news.
Talk Radio.
What an action-packed hour. 2 more to go. Give us a call now. 0344 499 1000. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road, it's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold. A brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. So if you want
Tomorrow night, dear listener, tomorrow tonight. Well, we're pre-recording a chat with Bernie Clifton. But tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, we got Chris Difford from Squeeze on the phone. We got some cracking guests lined up for you. Me and Catherine have really we've mined a rich seam of guests, and we've come up with some brilliant people. We've got coming up soon, and I've just started reading her book. And she's in a band I don't know a lot about, but I'm literally about 10 pages into her book, and I'm loving it. Michelle Leon, who was in an American punk rock group called The Babes in Toyland. And she's written this book called I Live Inside, Memoirs of a Babe in Toyland. And I don't know anything about them, and sometimes it's a really interesting way to approach a band. I've not heard any of their stuff. I'm not sure if I'd like their stuff. I don't know. But 10 pages in, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to dig this book. It is brilliant. It is brilliant. She's coming on soon. We've got Mark Thompson, the scientist, who's coming on soon. It's magic that he does, but it's not. It's science. Eddie Large, hopefully at some point. We really have. Just, again, thanks to Dredge, who suggested loads of people. He kind of said, you should do an old comedian special. And it's something we've been talking about for a while. He put forward a couple of names. So we're kind of in a bit of a groove at the moment with guests. Mm-hmm. And we do have to play tomorrow, whenever we play the Bernie Clifton interview, we do have to play a song from his CD, The Voices of Bernie Clifton.
Yeah.
And it's a straight CD. It's a straight... I haven't got my CD player with me, so I cannot... let you know what it sounds like.
Speaking of music, I'm quite excited about Friday.
Why?
Because we've got Jill on.
And now remind me of her name. Jill. I can't remember her last name. Basically, the Mamas and Papas, right? Denny Doherty.
Jill Gibson.
Denny Doherty, Cass Elliott, Michelle Phillips, and John Phillips. And John Phillips and Michelle Phillips were beautiful, young, talented couple, and they were married. So I'm chewing a cough sweat, I do apologise. But then Michelle, it was very druggy and very sexually incestuous band, and Michelle then had an affair with Denny.
But Cass was in love with Denny.
Yeah, so...
And Denny kind of loved Cass, but he couldn't get over the size thing, could he?
So everyone got angry with Michelle, of course. So Michelle got kicked out of the band. And Michelle Phillips, one of the most stunning women in rock and roll ever. And she got kicked out of the band for about I'm going to say 6 months. I don't even know if it was that long, and was replaced by Jill Gibson. So we actually have I think I would say this to her face, the forgotten member of the Mamas and the Papas.
And I think she would agree, because she's forgotten quite a lot what happened.
There was a lot, there was a lot of LSD going on. I mean, it's quite murky, actually. I mean, their kids were taking LSD. Anyway, I think she recorded some stuff. I think she's on some of the records as well, isn't she? Mm-hmm. Certainly did some shows. They didn't do too many shows, the Mamas and the Papas, but she certainly did some shows with them, I think. Anyway, so we got a Mama and a Papa, the forgotten Mama, coming on the show. So we've got that gentleman, Steve, who wants to talk about his brother, who he believes was murdered in Australia. That's coming up. Got some cracking guests coming on, really, really interesting, different stuff. And we're casting our net a little bit wider than perhaps we did for the first year of the show. The first year of the show, in fact, we were getting people like John Sebastian and Roger McGuinn and Mike Love replying to our emails. It totally blew our minds. But we're just kind of looking a little bit further out there. Hopefully going to have a flat earther on. That might be this week. That gentleman, whose name escapes me, the Nazi Bell.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm really windy. I've eaten a load of pizza, and I've got this cough, and I've had Andrew's liver salts, and I might cack my pants.
How's your evening going?
The guy, the Nazi Bell.
I can't remember his name.
Anyway, he might be coming. I've messaged him to see if he'll come on. So, that's kind of where we are at the moment. Let me take a call. Remind me I want to do more business. Just remind me to talk about pods in a minute.
Okay.
Well, let's take a call, because I've been whittling on for too long. It's Common Tracy.
Hi, Ian.
She wants to be like Common Tracy. She wants to eat whatever Common Tracy eats.
I didn't think she was that common. Tracy, I don't think you're that common.
You wouldn't, Kath.
Oh.
You wouldn't. You'd think she was posh. Now, CT.
Yes.
Have you seen those adverts? Right. And if they're advertising with us, then boy, oh boy, they're brilliant. With Top Cat. It's for either the Woolwich... No, the Halifax is Scooby-Doo. It's the Woolwich or something. It's a bank or a building society. And have you seen it, Tracy?
Yeah.
It's Halifax.
And it's not Top Cat's voice. And both me and Catherine were doing better impressions of Top Cat than whatever chancer they had in to do the advert. It was unbelievable. Yes, another bad thing, Officer Dibble. Officer Dibble. That's Top Cat.
Benny, old pal.
Ready. Scoops!
Like Scoops!
Scoops! See, we're better than those people in the adverts. Scoops! We're in the Halifax Scoops!
Yours is uncanny because you also look a bit like...
Hey! So what I'm saying is Halifax will come and do it for half of what you're paying those people. Anyway, Tracy, what have you got for us?
The topic.
Yeah, go on.
Frankie Howard.
Yeah, we're compiling a list of people that can make you laugh without doing anything. So we had Frankie Howard already. So I've got. Hang on, Tracy. Let's write this down. So we've got Frankie Howard. We've got Eric Morecambe. We got Bobby Ball, of course, and Tommy Cooper. Right. Who else you got?
Leonard Rossiter.
Yeah, Miss Jones.
Can I?
Yeah, Miss Jones.
Can I interject?
Well, he says he's an African prince. I don't think so. Yeah, Miss Jones. Yeah.
I think I'm missing something, because...
Ed's not got a clue what was going on now.
I didn't find him funny, and also I found him a bit creepy, Leonard Rossiter.
Well, you know...
Yeah, but when he was doing the show, he did used to give a look, and...
No, Miss Jones. Yeah.
You seem to know what's going on.
I'm not wanted here. Yeah, Miss Jones. Yeah, Miss Jones. He says he's an African prince. I think he's just a black man. Miss Jones.
And the modern day one I've got as well.
Yeah, go on.
Peter Kay.
No! Peter Kay's funny, but he has to say things to be funny. I don't think I wouldn't... Okay, I'm going to sit...
Give a look.
I'm going to sit on the fence on this, Catherine.
Yeah, I don't know. He's not the one that springs to binds in the...
Garlic bread!
No, that's funny. Tell you who I do think is funny.
Yeah.
Julie Walters. She's got a funny face.
I'll tell you what, when she comes in as Mrs. Overall...
Yeah, don't have to do anything.
I'll give you that.
I'll
give you that.
Uncle Acorn Antiques.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two soups, Miss Babs.
God, we're getting all the impressions out tonight, isn't it? I'll give you Julie. I won't. If someone, I'll tell you what we're going to do, Tracy. We're not accepting Leonard Rossiter. If someone else because he wasn't funny. If someone else phones up and can put forward a very strong, convincing argument for Peter Kay, I'll allow it.
Okay.
Is that all right? Are we parting as friends?
Yeah, because I'm on a low today, so you've brightened my day up.
Why are you on a low, Trace? Anything happen in particular, or are you just not feeling it today?
I'm just not feeling it today, and my son's been at work all day, and he's just come home and gone straight upstairs to watch.
Oh, you were hoping you get a bit of communication from him, and he's not in the mood for it.
Yeah, you're the only person I spoke to today. I need to say hello to him.
How did I can have days like that when the kids and my wife go away on holiday. They often go away for a few weeks, and I stay in for work. And I can have days where I don't speak to anyone. How often do you have those days, Trace?
Quite often.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
And they get to you, do they?
Yeah, because I don't work, so I'm not in the house, and I talk to the cats more than I do anybody, a human.
Well, as you know, I'm a huge cat lover, and I get the best. I get the best conversation out of Velvet. Out of Velvet, she's all right. Do you know what? I made a big fuss of the other night because she's gonna be. How old is she gonna be? She's gonna be 18 this March. And she's getting very, very thin and very bony, and I'm thinking, well, we might get another couple of years. She's fine, health-wise, she's fine.
Never worry, now.
Yeah,
I mean, my Pip's been poorly. I've got two, Pip and Poppy.
Yeah.
And my Pip's been poorly.
How long you had Pip for?
Since he was 12 weeks old, and he's coming up to 4 now.
Oh, so he's still a baby.
Yeah. But he's having trouble going to the loo, and I've been backwards and forwards to the vet, and they keep saying, he's just constipated, and
They are. The thing about people who don't have cats don't get cats, right? And they go, you can't love a cat as much as a dog. Yes, you can. I've had Velvet for 16 years. I got her when she was 2. It was a pub had her, and they had 2 cats, and the woman was pregnant, and this cat was quite skittish, and they couldn't handle it. So I took this cat, paid 40 quid to the Cats Protection League. I've had her for 16 years, right? I've had my eldest son for 7 years, and my wife for 10. The cat has been with me almost twice as long as I've known my wife.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. I think I do get the cat thing, but only because my sister's cat is my nemesis. Yeah, I'm not allowed one. But I think it's because, right, dogs will go for anyone because they don't.
Stickers.
They're just happy to be around whoever. It shows them some attention. A cat chooses to be with you, so you feel a little bit more blessed, I think, when you've got a cat that's your cat. You know, not your wife's cat, not your kid's cat. They choose you, and the attachment is very personal, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's not a friend at the moment because I keep having to give him not cod liver oil, liquid paraffin.
Oh, liquid paraffin?
Yeah.
Are you going to a vet or a witch doctor? what is that supposed to... That'll clear something out.
It's helped him. It has helped him.
Oh, God. Well, listen, I know what a worry it can be, Tracy, when the vet is struggling to... You know there's something wrong with your cat and the vet is struggling to put a finger on it. I wish you and Pip the very best of luck, Trace.
Thanks, Ian.
Give us a call any time, love. Take care.
Well done,
Bye-bye.
I know what she's talking about there. You know, before I had the kids and stuff, and I had my own flat, it would be blissful to have invitations to go out over the weekend and choose not to. But a whole weekend without the prospect of seeing anyone is something else, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I guess it is.
I mean, I'd quite like it now, but I don't have the choice.
It's different, isn't it, when you've got kids, because that is just not even an option. Ray and Pablo, stay there, we'll come to you in a bit. 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Here come the Nazis! The Nazis have got me on Twitter! One of the most obnoxious, vile, racist, right-wing, xenophobic, Islamophobic pieces of shit. What's this guy's name? I don't remember this guy's name. He's Prison Planet. Paul Joseph Watson has retweeted me. He's retweeted me. I've been blessed. It's like Adolf Hitler himself looking down at me at the Nuremberg rallies and pointing at me and saying, "Dog, seize!" And all of his obnoxious, right-wing, racist, scumbag, thick arseholes who follow him are now coming for me on Twitter. And they are welcome to come for me, because you guys are nothing but the brain dead. Listen, I'm not offended by anybody who's on the right. Of course I'm not. What I am offended by is people who use free speech to spout Islamophobia, homophobia, hatred. The reason I hate this Paul Watson so much, I'll tell you why. You go and watch his video on depression. Have you seen it? Have you seen his video on depression? You go and watch it, and you tell me that bloke isn't a certifiable dangerous bellend. You watch that video on depression where he says depression is made up, when he says depression is not a real thing, when he says depression is a conspiracy by the drug companies, he says depression is entitled cucks and snowflakes who are unable to stand up for themselves. You go and watch that, and you tell me that bloke is not a complete winker. You tell me, right? A disease, I'll have you know, dear listener, that kills more men in this country than anything else. It kills more men in this country than anything else. It is a killer disease, right? It kills. And he makes his little videos and sends them out to his 500,000 followers. And he says that depression is not real, and it's just people who are weak, and it's just people who can't stand up for themselves because they're liberals, and because Islam is taking over the world and they can't stand it. That's what he says, right? That's what he says. Here's the thing, Paul Watson at Prison Planet. I know people who have died from this disease. I know people who have jumped in front of trains. I know a guy, get this right, a guy who was so riddled with addiction, and he couldn't quite get his head around it and was so depressed by it, he jumped in front of a train. A bloke I know, a bloke whose phone number I had on my phone, a bloke who would occasionally invite me out for dinner. He jumped in front of a train, Paul Watson. He jumped in front of a train and killed himself. And you're telling me that depression isn't real? You can make digs about my career and stuff. Listen, I'll tell you where my career is. It started off really low. It got quite high for a couple of years. It got really low, and slowly it's building itself back up. And I'm in a position now where I can pay my mortgage. My mortgage is about 70 grand I've got left on it. I can pay that very, very comfortably. I can feed both of my children. That'll do for me. In terms of career, that'll do for me. I'm very, very happy with that. I got enough money in the bank. When this job goes tits up, I can afford not to work for a couple of years. Imagine if I had to tighten my belt. If nothing happened for 24 months, I could tighten my belt. I could cut off a few outgoings I've got. I could sell my car and get a slightly smaller car, and I could survive for 2 years. So, if you're talking about finances as a success, well, I consider that a success. Here we go. Here's what he tweeted me. I tweeted, that's great. I hope your new video's as funny as your one about depression. You must have a big team of writers. He replied, I remember you. So it does it in this voice. I remember you. You were relevant for about 5 minutes in the year 2000. What is it with all these loser UK celebrities in my mentions? You were relevant for about 5 minutes in the year 2000. Here's where the alt-right, don't call them that, they love it, they're Nazis. Here's where the Nazis get off, right? It's all to do with the size of their dicks and power, right? That's what it is. It's the size of their dicks and its power, and it's how they perceive their standing as higher than yours. You were relevant for about 5 minutes in the year 2000. That's a cuss. He's called me a cuck there. He's calling me a snowflake. He is saying, you are irrelevant. I am relevant now. I am the future. He said the alt-right is the new punk rock. Oh, God, no. The new punk rock, apparently, is noncing. Let's all bow down before the god of Milo, shall we? You were relevant for about 5 minutes in the year 2000. But your whole system on judging people is screwed, Paul Watson. It's screwed. By relevant, you mean I was on the telly. Why is that irrelevance? That's not relevance. Being on the telly, I imagine, Paul, you think you're relevant because you've got 500,000 followers. You're not relevant. You're no more relevant than me. You're no less relevant than me. Okay? So saying you were relevant for about 5 minutes in the year 2000. What does that mean? I was on TV? You think people on TV are relevant? I was never relevant. I was the host of a show that got seen by 1.2 million viewers. Sometimes, if it was a good Ali G episode, we got 1.7 million viewers. Is that relevant? Show that's on at 11 o'clock on Channel 4, relevance? Is that what you consider relevance? So, I'm now getting a lot of his people with frogs, pictures of frogs in their things, tweeting me.
And not a real name between
them? No. What would happen if we turned out to be right? Seriously.
Well, first of all, put your name on it.
Seriously, haven't you retroactively realised you were wrong about something? I've replied, wrong about what? What are you talking about? Someone else, what's funny about radical Islam terrorism? I think my grandma used to follow you, #hasbeen. I've replied, I was, I don't know what I replied. I replied something. Well, let's see what else we got. Butt hurt much? Well, yes, it does. Andrew's liver salts. I remember, hey, yeah, I remember that bloke from that programme. Still alive then. Well done you. Yeah, fair play, brother. I survived. Despite having days when my head is screaming at me to kill myself. Despite having days when my head is telling me that, despite the fact I've got 2 young children, actually it'll be quite a sensible option to get a rope and hang it from the loft window and hang myself. Despite that being a reality that I've looked at and considered, yeah, I'm still here. So I'm going to take that well done. Thank you very much. No! 84 new notifications. Let's have a look. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Look at all of these. Who is he? Never heard of him. Oh, no! Someone called Out Means Out has never heard of me. That's terrible behaviour. You total moron. Too bad for you. You don't get the truth in the vids. He's gained as many followers in 1 month as you have entirely. Yes, and they are all arseholes. You see, I mean, this is pointless. Have you heard this song called Has Been by William Shatner? Seriously. Yes, it's very good. Thank you. Nobody is getting anything out of these exchanges. Nobody. Oh, my God. Oh, here we go. OMG. Iain Lee is still alive. I thought you committed suicide after your career completely and utterly collapsed. So funny. I have considered suicide, but I am feeling okay today. Thanks for your concern, Nazi. And they are. They're racists. They're Nazis. They're homophobes. They're bullies. They are misogynists. They are nasty people. They're the kid in school who was mean to everyone, who stole the dinner money, who got... well, this Paul Mason is, Watson, whatever his blooming name is, and the people that follow him are the same people that would follow the school bullies, sucking up behind him just to see if they could get any of that glory. Any of that glory. Listen, guys, if you don't like Muslims, come out and say it properly. Just say you don't like Muslims. You don't like Jews? Come out and say you don't like Jews. You don't like queers? Come out and say you don't like queers. Come out and say these things. Stop hiding behind a faux news site, Breitbart, which is racist, and a faux fun name that we've given you, alt-right. You're not alt-right. You're racists. You're Nazis. And I'm not scared of you one little bit. Martin, Eben, Ray, Pablo, come to you after this.
Late night Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
I've issued an invitation to the racists and the Nazis to follow me, to call me. Let's see how many of them take us up on that offer, shall we, guys? 0. It'll be 0. Ray's on the line. Evening, Ray.
You've now got my blood boiling.
Tell me about it. Go on.
It's ridiculous. Will I be really offended if I watch his video on depression, or should I not bother?
I really wouldn't bother, mate, because if you've got depression, you haven't got depression, you're just a pussy that can't handle life. Deal with it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I was in the police for 17 years, and depression probably cost me my career. And you mentioned a friend of yours that jumps in front of the train. I dealt with things like that, you know, the sort of collecting body parts whilst doing that job. So, it's nonsensical. You know, of course it's an illness, and it's a very serious illness that it's just starting to be taken seriously now. And there still needs to be a lot more done.
Yep. This guy exists, and I'm now going to spend the next 10 minutes dealing with racists. So I'm not. Listen, guys, I'm not worried by racists and Nazis. Don't scare me. A, because I'm not black. B, because I'm not Jewish. C, because I'm not Muslim, and D, because I'm not gay, right? So I'm kind of, the only thing they can get on me is I'm a liberal. Wow, that's a bad thing, being a liberal. That's the best you can do. come and deal with me, you know, I'm fine. But they won't call in. Anyway, Ray, what have you called in for?
I'd like to know. Very fair. I think it's a bit weird, because even even though there's some of the technical issues on Sunday night, I thought it was fabulous, the rabbit hole. That's number one.
Bless you, thank you.
Number two, you interviewed, people have said it already, but it was absolutely fabulous. And even as a middle-aged man, I tweeted Tommy just to say how good it was, and now he's following me on Twitter, which is
Hey, can I just say a big thank you to everyone, because I mentioned earlier, if everyone was tweeting me saying it was a great interview. I said tweet Tommy Cannon, at the Tommy Cannon. About 50 tweets straight to him. So thank you everyone who did that. That's brilliant, and I know that'll make his night.
And it's great. And as a result, he's followed me on Twitter, which is ridiculous, but I'm thinking how great. And the last thing I've got is you're talking about people that make you laugh without saying anything.
Yeah, go on.
Another double act. Sadly, they're both no longer with us. Pete and Dad.
What, Peter Cook?
Yeah, Peter Cook and Dudley Moore.
I don't know. I think they were funny in the language. I think it was the words.
So I could look at them and they'd make me laugh. They wouldn't, because at the start of their sketches, especially the ones when they're just talking nonsense, they don't even have to open their mouths and I've done already, because they're just, they're obviously trying to make each other laugh with the words, but I thought they were fabulous. But they'll definitely make me laugh without talking.
Do you know what? I think they're funny. I'm going to be really harsh tonight. I think they're funny, but I'm not going to put them on the list because I think for me their humour comes from their words.
I've got one.
Yeah, go on.
Who's an obvious one?
Yep.
Les Dawson.
No.
Oh, come on.
Not funny. Just not funny.
Oh, he was.
No, just not funny. Was he Ray? I don't know.
Well, see, I wasn't a fan, no. You're definitely not going to put this one on the list. He's a recent one that, again, I don't know whether to say it now because you could definitely say is Lee Mack.
I like Lee Mack. You don't like Lee Mack, do you, Kath?
No. And he's probably a very nice person.
Reasons. One, he's funny, and two, his dad on TV is Bobby Ball.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true, yeah. I like Lee Mack. I think he's funny, and he's a really nice bloke as well. I've worked with Lee, and he's a delightful gentleman.
I just don't get it. I'm not saying he's not a nice man. I'm sure he is, but I just don't get it.
No. Okay, all right, Ray. Listen, thank you very much. I'm not putting Pete and Dud on there. Also, because Pete and Dud, they're famous for making each other corpse. I think they were faking it most of the time. You watch that one in the eyes follow you around the room. I think they're faking it. And at the time it would be quite subversive and dangerous, but no, I think they're faking it.
Also, they were quite often drunk, weren't they?
Yeah, very, 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 very drunk. Very drunk. Evening, Martin.
Hello, Lee. Hiya.
Hello, Martin.
Yeah, about comedians. I think Russ Abbott's a good comedian.
Yeah, we might get Russ on the show, actually. I've been thinking about asking Russ on the show.
The thing is with him, he's such a sweet guy, but did you know that his mum was in an asylum?
No, I didn't know that, Martin.
Yeah, she didn't know him, She was mentally ill like me. And I remember reading in the papers and he was saying his greatest wish was his mum could say, hello, son, but she had so severe illness that she didn't know him as a son. And you've got, to think that behind the back of his mind when he's making people laugh, it must take a lot of effort to do that,
Yes.
And another thing, you're talking about cats. Do you know how to communicate with a cat?
No.
Squint your eyes.
Oh,
I was told this when I was a child. My next door neighbour's got a cat.
I did know this. I've tried this before. Yeah, you're supposed to be able to talk to them by that, aren't you?
Isn't a slow blink like a cat kiss?
Yeah, that's right, because next door neighbour's got a cat, and I saw it's on the windowsill sometimes. A couple of days ago, I was squinting my eyes, and he nodded his head, in a way, and then after a few days, she started squinting back at me, and that's how they communicate. We can communicate with them, and with dogs as well. People say, how do dogs know that we have epilepsy and stuff? I think it's our eyebrows. Because there was a dog, I lived in a flat, this lady downstairs had a dog, and I used to torment it sometimes by raising my eyebrows up and down, and he used to bark. He used to bark to try and get the neighbours' attention, because he must have thought I was ill. So, that's another fact. But, I think Russ Abbott is a beautiful comedian. And what do you think of comedians? Do you like comedians who are self-deprivating? How do you take your comedians?
I like a little bit of self-deprivation. I like all kinds of comedy.
Yeah.
Give me some examples of self-deprivators.
Yeah, you see, that's what you have to be, because you can't be too serious.
No.
I mean, a lot of these comedians, like the Khan, is it Mr. Khan or something?
Oh, Citizen Khan. Oh, that's a terrible programme.
Yeah, I think he pushes for laugh too much, for laugh.
I just don't think... Is it supposed to be a comedy?
Yeah, it forces you to laugh, and it's got to be easy flowing. Russ Abbott on the advert, where he had the speakers and he was going fishing and he put the speakers in water,
that was good.
and, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do love self-deprivations, and there's not enough of that, really.
Hey, Martin, how's your musical about the Pharaohs coming on?
Oh, no, I was going to write a musical, but I just did one song.
Oh,
but,
okay.
I can give you another lyric of a song.
Yeah, please do, mate.
It's Mother. It's called Mother, about a girl who didn't take her mother's advice and made bad friends with people.
Okay, let's hear that.
The crunch of it goes, I thought that I knew what was right.
Martin, can you sing it?
Yeah, okay, I'll give it a whirl. I'm in a flat though, right? So it goes, this is the crunch lyric. I thought that I knew what was right. I wasn't wary
Yeah,
of
Martin, sorry, can you sing it?
I can't, because I don't know. I can't remember all the words.
Sorry. I thought you said you could.
The crunch part goes,
yes.
I thought that I knew what was right. I wasn't wary of the night. I thought it was all fun and games, but then I got caught in the rain. The friends that used to make me laugh, they turned and stabbed me in the back. And now they've left me standing small with my face turned against a wall. Oh, Mother, please hold me in your arms. Don't ever let me go. So I write songs to do with society, so that society plays it out like a video recorder when you watch it, like Coronation Street, or, you know, so and you know, sweetheart, the reason I started writing songs, you won't believe this, but
yeah,
I believe in the afterlife, so I was using up all my feelings in songs, so I decided to stop doing songs, and I've changed it, and I've started creating a universe from the afterlife, and that's where all my energies have gone for the past 25 years, creating this universe and planets and stuff, and it's fascinating because it's kept me, because I've got schizophrenia, and it's kept me out of hospital for 25 years.
What?
Because the universe that I do keeps me occupied rather than being psychiatrically malformed. I just turn my inward feelings into creating, and as I say, if the neighbours don't annoy me as they are trying to do, then I'll be out of hospital for another 25 years, so yeah.
What do you think the afterlife is like, Martin? What's going to be there for us?
I believe heaven is a school, and when you die, you go to the schooling, and what you are in life, you are in heaven. So if you're not interested in school, then you're not going to want to learn much in heaven.
Can you bunk off school in heaven?
Well, yes, you can, but the thing is, sweetheart, you know, when I was a child, I bunked off school too much, and I can't spell. So when I get to heaven, I know that I'm not going to bunk off schooling because I know the consequences.
If I bunked off school in heaven, though, where would I go? Like the arcades, the CAF? What is there to go and do?
You school in heaven, you go play on the universe that you've created for yourself, you know. You've got this, I'm creating this universe, so if I bunk off school, then I'll be in the universe playing, but I know the consequences. If I spend my whole life playing Star Wars in heaven, then I'm not going to learn the basics of feelings of other people and what makes me a different being to another person and the soul of a person. So I know that if I bunk off school in heaven, I know that I've got it's like church. If you don't go to church, I don't go to church, but if you don't go to church, then you're not going to learn the feelings of God and feelings of mankind. So the consequences are, when you get to heaven, you're going to be a person who not really bad, but not having the feelings of another being. You're going to see other aliens as somebody to go destroy their world or whatever, rather than, you know, than learning. So, because this universe that I've created, I'm not narcissistic, but, you know, it's just something that has kept me interested, and I know the consequences of not going to school in heaven, because I've learned it on earth. So, and in school in heaven, the people who have died before you, they'll have graduated maybe a year. So if your parents died 10 years before you, when you get there, they'll be in the year 6 or whatever they call it, I don't know. And when you go there, you'll be like nursery form, then school, then university. Then when you've graduated, you go to the universe that you've created.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Oh no, it's not low work. It's just like Earth. I mean,
God, I've got to move on. Call again because I want to find out more. I want to go to Paul. He's on the line. Evening, Paul.
Evening. Is this Ian?
Yes. Is this Paul?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Ian, you challenged me while we were exchanging on Twitter to call you back, saying that I'll be a chicken.
Okay.
I'm too chicken to do so.
Well done. You've called in. What was your your Twitter handle so I can see what we were saying to each other?
Paul /star.
Paul /star. STAR?
Yes.
/
Oh, my @ is Brilliant Sights.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, your Twitter handle. @Brilliant
Sights.
And how are you spelling sights?
SIGHTS. Like as in views rather than building.
Okie dokie. Is your name Leon David Kwan?
No, it's not, no.
That's the name that's come up under @Brilliant Sight.
Brilliant Sights.
Brilliant Sights, my apologies. It's been a long night.
That's all right.
It's been a long night.
Okay.
There we go. Here we go. Right, hang on a second. I'm just trying to find out. Okay, right, yeah. You happy using the word libtard?
I am, yes.
Do you know what libtard means?
It is a derogatory term which is a coinage of two words.
Give me the two words.
It's a merging of the words liberal and retard.
Are you happy with the word retard?
Listen.
What does no. Answer the question. What does retard mean?
Retard is someone who is. Well, to be honest, I'd have to probably get the dictionary to be...
It's a derogatory term for people who are handicapped or mentally ill. It's a word that we don't really use anymore because it's a really mean, nasty word. It belittles people who have got birth defects. It's a horrible, horrible word. But you're happy to use that?
In this case, yeah, because we're not so politically correct.
No, but there's political correctness, and then there's just being offensive for the sake of it. You're happy to mock.
I've had a boss call me retard, and the next day he's called me a brilliant man.
I don't care if you were called a retard or not, because I'm imagining you're not disabled or you haven't got disabled kids. Is that right?
Well, I'm awaiting heart surgery, but I'm hoping.
No, Paul. You know what I mean. Clever, but not clever enough, buddy. So you're not.
So you're going to let me talk?
I'm going to let you talk, Paul. But I just want to go through this bit by bit. We've got an hour and 15 minutes if you want it, Paul. So there's no rush. I just want to say, because you called me a libtard, and I just want to check the mettle of the man. Okay, that you are happy, and it's not political correctness that we politely don't use the word retard. It's manners. It's just manners, because there will be people who have got disabled children with learning difficulties or Down syndrome, or people that have got or kids that have got all kinds of problems. And retard, of course, is a derogatory, nasty word used to belittle those children. You're happy as a grown man to use the word retard as an insult, yeah?
I'm using the word libtard.
Yeah, which is a bastardisation of the word retard. So we know what it means. So you're happy to use the word. You're happy. No, Paul. I just want to check this one thing, and I'll let you speak. I promise, dude. I'm not going to cut you off.
Okay.
You're happy to use the word retard as an insult, just so I can get a measure of what kind of man you are. You're happy to use the word retard.
I'm a high caliber man.
I'll make my judgments, Paul. You're happy.
I don't mind about anybody's judgments.
I literally couldn't care less about your judgments, but you seem to think I do. You're happy to use the word retard, a word that I feel repulsive even saying. Okay. You're happy to use that word as an insult, yeah?
Well, I've already said my point of view. I can elaborate on that if you want. But
is it a yes or Paul? Is it a yes or no? It's a yes.
I'm fine to use libtard, yes.
Wow.
And,
okay.
And retard actually has bigger uses as well.
No, it doesn't, Paul. It doesn't.
Yes,
No, Paul. You know exactly what Paul. Don't phone up, mate, and try and school me into as what retard means. We both know what that word means. We both know how it's used, all right?
Listen,
so don't try and get clever. Don't get Paul. Paul, I'm talking about Paul. I'm not talking about a teenager. Paul, I'm not talking about a teenager. I'm talking about now, what the word means now. Because gay didn't mean gay in the 20s. We know that, right? I'm talking about now. You know we both know what that word means, Paul.
So
we both know the baggage that word carries.
Is it okay then to be called all kinds of names because you people think that because you voted that you want out of the EU and because you think Donald Trump is a good man?
Hang on.
Is you happy to call certain people all kinds of names like that? You know,
who's brought Brexit into? Why have you brought Brexit into this?
Generalisation.
I've not mentioned Brexit once, Paul.
No, but we know what we're talking about.
No, we don't. I've not mentioned Brexit once. I'm talking about racists, Nazis, Islamophobes and homophobes. I've not mentioned Brexit once, mate. Why have you brought that up?
I'm born Jewish, so I'm not racist about that.
Well, okay, so you're not anti-Semitic, but Jews can still be racist, Paul.
Oh, anyone can be racist.
Yeah, I know. So I've got no idea what Jewish has got to do with it. I don't know what Brexit's got to do with it. Brexit wasn't mentioned, Paul.
I've brought it up, that's why.
Okay, what's your point about Brexit and how does it connect with the conversation that we're having?
Because
and the message that you sent me, let me just read the message you sent me. Seems that
read the message you sent first.
Well, which one did you... No, you wrote to me first, Paul.
Well, I wrote to you based on your comments about Paul Joseph Watson.
Yeah, I've read those out.
Prison Planet.
Yeah, I've read those out. I've read those out.
So my comment was in response to that.
Seems that the entire criticism from libtards is just so ducking, creepily snide.
I'll put ducking in rather than swear.
Okay, that's but you still use libtard. Okay, not cool, clever, or funny. Okay, what's that got to do with Brexit, Paul?
Well, it's part of the general conversation at the moment.
It's not. It's not. I've not mentioned Brexit.
That a lot of us have received.
Well, that's Paul.
I then made a comment. Okay, I'll tell you why I said that.
Because I've not mentioned Brexit. I've not mentioned Brexit.
Well, I'll tell you why I brought that up. Okay.
Yes.
Because basically, I referred to the fact that site it is relevant. It's increasing in followers at an incredible rate.
What site are you talking about?
Prison Planet, which is the one that you criticised on one of his videos.
Do you believe in free speech?
Yes, of course.
Then the bloke that runs it is a Nazi, and everybody that follows it is a racist. Free speech. I'm allowed to say that.
You're allowed to say
I'm allowed to say that. Or is the snowflake going to get upset? Is the snowflake going to get upset because people were calling in names about Brexit, and I didn't even mention Brexit? You're such a poor little snowflake.
Part of the general communication.
I've not mentioned Brexit. You're such a poor little snowflake, Paul.
Oh, here we go. So you're criticising me as a person.
Free speech. It's free speech, Paul. It's free speech.
Yeah.
You guys support it.
Right.
You guys support it.
You're going to let me speak a little bit. I have tried.
I don't have to. But go on. You speak. Go on. You speak,
well,
snowflake.
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, you made a comment about Prison Planet's video about depression.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Very good point.
No, he didn't. His video about depression. I will do, Paul. But I know people that have been killed by the disease of depression. His video is dangerous, and it urinates on the grave of my friends that I've lost.
Well, I'm also very interested in that psychiatric profession.
In the what?
And psychiatric profession. And
because it's all a conspiracy, isn't it?
Very much of the belief that the overprescription of very, very dangerous drugs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information out there which is suggesting that probably about 66% of the mass shootings, even the ISIS ones, are actually done under the influence of psychiatric drugs.
Where is this evidence, Paul? Tell me where this evidence is. I want to read this tomorrow. That's tomorrow's reading.
Well, if you look up...
Is it on Prison Planet? Is it on Breitbart?
No, I haven't seen it on there.
Where is it? Where's this evidence?
If you look it up, it's on...
Google? Is it on Google?
There's a psych...
Is it on Jeeves?
It's psych... trying to think of the name of the site. And there's CCHR. They have that. They have it.
What is CCHR? I don't know what that is.
It's Citizens Commission on Human Rights.
Right. Okay. Okay. So what has depression? What has depression got to do with ISIS? You're saying that we could all protect... Because I'm on antidepressants.
It's more than psychiatric drug treatment.
Well, we're not talking about...
With depression.
Paul, you're going off on tangents. We were talking about depression. Psychiatric drugs. I'm on psychiatric drugs.
Well, I mean, good luck to you, man, but, you know...
It saved my life, Paul. I was going to kill myself. I was going to kill myself, and it saved my life, buddy.
I'm glad that you haven't done that, honestly. I really am. And it's like some people will say that they've benefited, but there's a hell of a lot of people...
Oh, I believe... Listen, I agree. I agree that antidepressants are probably over-prescribed. I'll give you that, right?
Let me tell you a very interesting thing here.
You've got 3 minutes before we go to the news.
Okay, fair enough. So as soon as we've gone to the psychiatric thing...
Yes.
Basically, the amount of, there's a book called the DSM Manual, which is basically all the psychiatric disorders.
Yeah, I know.
Now, since that book first came out, the amount of disorders in that book has more than trebled.
Yeah, because we recognise, our knowledge is growing and we're recognising more disorders.
Let me tell you a very interesting thing here.
You've got a minute.
Which is that basically the psychiatric disorders, and I put the disorders in quotation marks, they're voted for.
But I'm not. But Paul, you're going away from depression. Paul, you're going away. Paul, you're going away from depression. We're talking about depression. I'm not talking about the DSM Volume 7 that we're on.
There's ways of treating depression that doesn't include
I know, and they don't work for everyone.
Look, I'm glad you're feeling better, honestly. I really am.
I'm feeling better today. Tomorrow I might want to jump under a bus. But listen, I genuinely do think that antidepressants are overprescribed, but I don't buy into the conspiracy that they're causing people to go around killing people.
There's a lot of stats on it, mate.
No, send it to me. Send it to me.
CCHR videos.
No, I'm not. I don't look at
marketing. Look up the video.
I don't look at videos. I don't watch videos online because I don't believe them.
It's a film. It's a 1.5 hour
mate,
film.
I'm not. Is it on YouTube? Because I'm not. I don't believe though anyone.
You can only look and then make up your own mind.
No, but Paul, I'm not gonna watch it. Why would I watch a documentary that's online?
Well, it's not. You can buy it if you want as well.
Wow, it must be real. Listen, listen, Paul.
You can only look for yourself.
Paul, listen, we've got to go. Yeah. You phoned up, and I respect you for that totally. I hope you'll phone up again.
I'm going to make it my business to do so.
I will. You called in, and I appreciate it.
No, I know it was a little bit sticky at first, but it's been a pleasure, and good luck for the rest of the show. And don't go into that.
Don't kill myself, Paul. Thank you very much indeed. You called in, and I've got to respect that. I've got to respect that. Thank you very much indeed.
Talk Radio.
That was fun, wasn't it, huh? Eben, Pablo, I'll come to you in a bit, I promise. 0344 499 1000. Late nights with Iain Lee. You can call in about absolutely anything what you want to call in about. Racists and Nazis are just as welcome as normal people. Late nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
This wicked world, searching for light in the darkness of insanity. I ask myself, is all hope lost? Is there only pain, hatred, and misery? 'Cause each time I feel like this inside, there's one thing I wanna know. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? And as I walk on through troubled times, my spirit gets so downhearted sometimes. Where are the strong? And who are the trusted? And where is the heart? 'Cause each time I feel it slipping away, you know, it just makes me wanna cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Ooh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Where are the strong? Who are the trusted? And where is the harmony? Sweet harmony. 'Cause each time I feel it slipping away, you know, it just makes me wanna cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, yeah. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Understanding, brother. Understanding, sister.
Imagine. Imagine.
Understanding.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. There's a slight buzz when I play the audio, but I know you guys can dig it until they get it fixed. That was fun, wasn't it? A little bit of Feist. Not had too many of those guys on before, and the deluge of Nazis seems to have died down for now. But I guess when I wake up in the morning, I'll have a whole load more. And I'm bored of doing your mum jokes, so I'm just gonna mute them. Pablo.
Hip, I'm good.
Hip, 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 hip.
Oh, you had a couple of crackers on the top there.
Hang on, where are you?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Not really.
How's right now?
Not really.
How's right now?
What are you doing? What you're not doing is holding the phone next to your ear.
Is that better?
No.
Not at all. Right, 2 seconds.
There we go. It works now.
Is that better?
No. Why can't you pick up the phone? Have you had your hands chopped off?
Yes, no.
No.
Is that better?
A little bit.
Sorry, the actual mouthpiece on my phone doesn't really work properly, so I've always got to use headsets. I just bought a relatively expensive one off the internet, and apparently it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
There we go.
We can hear you now, Pablo. What have you got for us?
Well, we're very large, potentially coming on. Potential double active large cannon.
Yep.
They could have the double act where they work on characters which have a very extensive history that they're very, very strict on.
For example?
Well, it's up to them. But
in the 48 minutes you've been working on this in your head, I bet you built it up into something great. It's not coming across as anything that makes any sense whatsoever.
Well, no, canon, as in like a canon of characters, and large, so they would have an
He really has been thinking about it too long. Yeah? Canon, canon, keys.
Well, our fellow chocolates now alt-right by, association.
What are you talking about? What have you been doing in the 48 minutes you've been online?
Just wandering about, like a ghost in my own home. Because everybody else is asleep. No, I haven't. I'm not a ghost.
Yeah. So, what? Kat, you tried talking to him, so I'm getting no sense out of the fella.
So, Pablo.
How do?
Tell me something that makes sense.
I was taking... Before going to the break, you listed my name second, so I wasn't quite prepared. You called me... And with the headphones, I'm all like a kerfuffle.
What is the thing with the headphones? Because I never understand it, and I see people walking down the street, and I wonder if they're talking to themselves or singing to music, and then you realise that they've decided not to hold the phone up to their mouths. I've never felt the need to do that. Is it some sort of Are you trying to avoid radiation or something?
No, I don't. I very rarely get that many phone calls, so I just generally use it for listening to podcasts and making the odd phone call.
Right. Okay, and the idea is that those headphones are supposed to have a microphone in, because we got a very nice audio representation of your pocket at the start.
Well, that may have been the issue. I realise now that it was in my pocket. I've got a potential for a funny, just by looking at them, type of character. Arthur Lowe from Dad's Army.
Oh.
No. Well, you know, just slightly skewer for the glasses, all right. Well, how was about Michael Crawford in...
no.
Some others who haven't.
Tell you what, his leg through a ceiling was funny.
The bit where he got covered in tar and became a black man. He actually fell into a bucket of tar. He fell into a bucket of tar, did all his own stunts. He fell into a bucket of tar, and an Indian family pulled him out, and he went, "Hello."
No.
He maybe even said, "How?" You talk to him, and I'll find the clip. Hang on.
Flipping heck. Was that the scene you're referring to?
To be fair, I was more just thinking of him like kind of curling his mouth when he got into trouble, rather than any kind of racist incident.
Wow. The things we used to watch.
Here we go, look. Look at him, right? Let me, oh no, this might be something that we don't want it to. But look, that's it, that's how he came out of the tar.
Oh gosh.
And I think he maybe even said how. I don't know, something like that. No, but I'm not allowing that. I want someone who can walk onto a stage in a theatre and not say anything and just get a huge laugh.
I saw someone who expected to do that and it didn't happen for them.
Oh.
Charlie Drake.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hello, my darlings.
When I was a little kid, my mum took me to a pantomime and Charlie Drake was in it.
Yeah.
And he did that. He walked into the middle of the stage like he owned it.
Yeah.
Raised his arms.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Aye.
Because none of the kids knew who he was.
No. Hello, my darlings.
Yeah.
How could you not know who Charlie Drake was? Hello, my darlings.
He's another one.
My boomerang won't come back. My boomerang won't come back. Well, I waved the thing all over the place. Practiced till I was black in the face. Well, I'm a big disgrace to the Aborigine race. My boomerang won't come back.
He's another one I found quite creepy.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. Benny Hill, him.
Yep.
Rossiter.
Well, on the hills, Harry Hill. He's got a funny face.
Harry Hill. Is that who you mean, Ed? The guy who eats custard? What the hell is he talking about? Oh, no, well, no. He's talking about Harry who ate custard.
This is one of my favourite jokes, Harry Hill.
Yeah, go on.
It's that my mother was a lollipop lady. In saying that, long, thin body, big, sticky head.
Thank you very much, Pablo.
That's the way he tells him.
Eben!
Hello?
Eben! Everyone's... Well, fair play. Eben and Pablo have been waiting for a long, long time. Did I see the Big V calling up? Is he coming on? Get him on next. Yes, Eben.
Sorry, there was a bit of shock. I did a little doze.
No, you've been waiting for a very long time. Well, Eben's been actually, and I should say this, dear listener, Eben's been on the phone since Thursday. And that is, even by my standards, that's pretty shocking. That's bad. That's bad form on my part, Eben.
Not to worry. I was meaning to phone in yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
But I was actually busy.
Oh, so was I. I was doing a radio show, so I couldn't have spoken
I had
to you.
a party on Monday evening.
Monday evening party?
On a school night?
Was it at church?
No, but it's in half term. I'm on half term now.
Oh, because you got funny half term because you played catchy catch instead of Tig. Was it good? Oh, hang on a minute. Look, you swap them. You swap them. Eben, sorry, Ed has crept into the machine. Was it good? It might have been my spit that did that, actually.
Yeah,
as soon as you spit on it, it touches it now. Yes?
Yeah, it was all right, but some things went kind of a bit dodgy.
Oh.
Tell me more, There's a weird line in that song, isn't there? Tell me more, did she put up a fight?
Yeah.
Basically, tell me more, was it a bit like rape? That's weird. I only heard that the other day. I thought, oh, that's a bit... Did she put up her fight? Yeah. Yes, Edmund. Not suggesting you
because we had the rule saying no spirits allowed.
You had no spirits allowed?
Yeah.
But then someone did a séance. Oh, I'm on top form tonight.
And as you could guess, they were smuggling it in and...
Good.
Everyone got drunk.
Good.
One person drank half a bottle of vodka.
Lightweights. Is that all?
And then they went outside and everything. Then they fell over the neighbour's wall.
Yeah. It wasn't your house, was it?
Yeah, it was my house.
Evan!
You didn't put it on Facebook, did you? Yeah. With people coming from far and wide.
Evan.
I was getting a bit nervous because everyone said, post your address in our Snapchat group chat.
Yes. It got put on a Snapchat group chat.
No, it's just of our form.
Right.
And I put my address in and everything, and I didn't really want to do that because I didn't know where.
Why did you do, Evan? Why did you have a party? What, did you want to have this party, or were you bullied into having the party?
No, I kind of wanted it, but I didn't realise how it got. How it would
Have
get.
you never seen an American movie from the 1980s? Because that happens in every movie.
The person who's hosting it never enjoys it.
And the main reason I was phoning in was to say...
Ask if you could sleep somewhere.
Really enjoyed Through the Rabbit Hole on Sunday on Periscope.
Thank you very much. It's going to come out. Catherine is working editing magic on it to make it sound decent for your ears for this Thursday's release.
I should have been up there on the Sunday. I got the ticket and everything.
We waited an hour.
But it got non-feasible with travel arrangements and everything, and it would have got a bit expensive. It would have been like £200 for the day.
Struth, that ain't worth it. Not because we almost... There was a point when me and Kath were going, do we cancel it? Because we had such terrible technical problems. We were going, right, we might have to cancel this. We were getting close to making that call. But everybody who came was brilliant. Everybody who didn't come was brilliant. Everybody was brilliant.
It sounded really good.
Thank you. It was all right. It was. We were both a little disappointed, but we got some good bits out of it.
And could I ask a favour of you, Iain?
Well, I've got no spare rooms, but I know Kath has got...
I've got a playhouse.
Yeah.
They didn't
No.
like that.
No.
Do you know if Talk Radio does Wick experience?
Oh, well, you're like the 88th person to ask me. Yes, who do they need to get in touch with, Catherine?
Lauren.webster@talkradio.co.uk.
Lauren.webster@talkradio.co.uk. If you mention, right, yes?
I have to say that normally they take people who are like a journalism students.
Yes.
And, if you're under 18, you might as well forget about it.
Okay.
But what we're doing there is we're giving you the hard sell to see if people are still determined enough to write on afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm actually 17 and a half.
Well.
I'm in that annoying age gap.
Yeah. Give it a try. It's just that we've had people approach us who've got, who are 14, 13. It's just not going to happen.
It just ain't going to happen. I'm flipping it. Do you know what? We've had... I can't be bothered to finish that joke. Eben, thank you.
Late night Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Vinny, Jamie, Craig, I'll come to you in a minute. Yes, Keith?
I heard there were some jobs going.
No.
I just thought, I'm really keen, and I can make.
There are literally.
Make a great cover. I can really write.
Yeah, there are literally no jobs.
I can
Thank you. Let's go to Vinny. Yes, Vinny.
I heard your job is going.
So, oh Jesus. Yes, my job is going.
Okay. How you doing anyway?
I'm doing really well, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright. How's your wife and my kids?
Sorry? That's a bit below the belt, Vin. You're better than that. You're better than that, Vin.
I thought the show was a bit shouty today.
Yeah, it was a little bit shouty. Well, it's been all over the place. We had Tommy Cannon at the start of the show, and then we had some calls, and then we had a racist, and that's how it goes.
Why
isn't
are
it?
you so angry?
I'm not angry.
You sound angry.
No, I'm not angry.
You sound angry on Twitter anyway.
Well, I'm not. How can you hear me on Twitter?
The way you express.
I'm getting called a C-bomb by quite a few people.
Just ignore them.
What?
Just ignore them.
Oh, okay.
You know, I think all these are like racists and stuff.
Yeah.
If you just ignore them,
yeah,
they just go away.
They become president of the United States of America.
Yeah, but he wasn't ignored.
Yeah. Why is this hour has Breitbart nobbled me? Because no one's making any sense this hour at all.
What's Breitbart again? What's Breitbart?
It's a really friendly news organisation run by really nice, cuddly people, former children's entertainers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Is it the one where that person got sacked today, wasn't it?
Yeah, Milo got sacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's used to be quite funny on TV.
Was it you that made me first aware of Milo?
Not Milo, the other one, Paul.
Paul Watson.
Yeah.
Mason. Paul Watson Mason. You sent me a video of his, did you?
Yeah, I was, someone sent me...
Thanks for that, because that's paid off well.
At least you got publicity now.
Well, yeah, but publicity from Nazis. I was kind of all right with low... There's a woman called Yasmin Stewart listening, right?
Yeah.
And this is a ridiculous radio show. I found it so annoying. Can this man let others speak? Boring. He is rude. And I've said, if you have a look, your radio might have a thing that lets you tune to another radio station. She's then replied, it was a link. I am still listening. It is like watching a train wreck. It is painfully awful. Let them talk. You are interviewing them. I'm not interviewing anyone. I'm not interviewing anyone. It's a phoning show. And, when I want tips on broadcasting, I won't be asking you, Yasmin Stewart. Yasmin, you're listening, and you listening online actually counts towards my listener figures. So you enjoy the car crash, baby, because you're feeding my kids. So thank you, Yasmin.
I thought it was the adverts that pay.
Yeah. But if we got the more people listening online, the bigger my numbers.
Okay.
So, I'm just tempted to play a record for the last half hour of the show, because there's a really weird vibe.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
It's not a music-based station, is it?
Sorry?
It's not a music-based station,
No,
is it?
no, but there are ways and means.
Yeah, are you allowed to play music, though?
If I feel the vibe is too dark, then yes, I can.
Okay. All right, then. All right.
Well, thanks for calling, Vin.
All right.
That went well. Jeez, I mean, Craig.
Ian.
Craig.
And Kath.
Hey.
How do?
All right. How are you?
Good, thanks. Ian.
Yes.
Astro Wars, you can get it as an app on the Android.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, there's like 8 different classic games from that era. And it works really well.
That's fantastic.
That's just one topic. Do you know racism in the 70s and all that?
Yeah.
I didn't know the black and white minstrels were blacked up. I thought they were black people.
Well, there was one black person, Lenny Henry, but the rest were blacked up, yeah.
I didn't pay attention because it was like music.
Yep.
I just thought, there's people singing. I didn't care. People who make you laugh with just looking at them. Mm-hmm. Well, Laura and Hardy, obviously, both of them.
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I'm going to have that.
You're missing out someone else who made you laugh on Laurel and Hardy.
Oh, James Finlayson.
James Finlayson with the double take.
His eyes, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have that.
And Rick Mail.
No, I'm not having James Finlayson, because I don't think he could walk out in front of 1,000 people in the theatre and get a big laugh by doing nothing. So, no, I'm not having that.
What?
Laurel and Hardy I will have, yes. Laurel and Hardy I will have, yeah.
And we've been talking about Rick Mail. Rick Mail.
No.
He makes you laugh just by looking at his face.
No, I'm not. And I'm certainly not having Mr. Bean like loads of people are suggesting. Mr. Bean is not funny, guys. It is
Rick
not
Mail's
funny.
face without words is... that's a standard, definitely.
It's not on the list.
Well, it's on my list.
It's not on the list.
Well, I also had Les Dawson, like Kath.
Mm-hmm.
And I also had Russ Abbott, like a previous caller.
Yeah, no, but I don't. And Russ Abbott is funny, but I don't think he could stand there and do nothing. I'm not having
the racist Scotsman. He was hilarious.
See you, Jimmy.
Yeah.
That's the name of the character. See you, Jimmy. No, so far we've got Frankie Howard, Eric Morecambe, Bobby Ball, Tommy Cooper, Julie Walters, and Laurel and Hardy. That's it.
And that Tracy with her cat. Why don't you give him liver salts?
Whoa.
I was going to suggest that, but then I thought actually she might do that. So no, don't give your cats liver salts. Whatever happens, do not do it.
Teaspoon anyway.
Do not do it. It will end in tears. Jamie. Oh, that was a bit of an anticlimax. Jamie.
Hi.
Hi, Jamie. Hiya.
Feeling a little bit sheepish and embarrassed, but
why is that?
Because stuff happened the other night, didn't it? And,
you're that Jamie, right?
Yeah. But referencing Evan's call, I agree. You probably shouldn't advertise stuff you're going to do on Facebook and Twitter.
Never, youngsters, guys, kids, don't get involved in Snapchat bum party.
Don't be putting your address anywhere.
No, for goodness sakes. And also, you open the door, you don't recognise them, you say, "Me ain't coming in." And if they get leery, you call the old Bill. That's it. And I know that's of course a 43-year-old man saying that. As a 17-year-old boy, would I have been quite so confident? Probably not. But that's what you do. I don't know you. You're not coming in. Thank you very much indeed. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, if you advertise anything on Facebook, you're gonna. I've seen it happen to my teenage children's friends, and the house has been wrecked. And
may I permit? Right. And you have the right to say no here. Permission to make light of something very serious that happened recently.
I was hoping you would.
Well, you advertised you were going to kill yourself on Twitter, and loads of people turned up. Bum bum.
That was the point I was making.
Bum bum. Bum bum. That's a tough joke. That's a tough joke to tell, isn't it? That's a tough joke to tell. But I'm glad you took it in the spirit it was intended.
I had a worse one, but I didn't know.
There we go. But I think that's probably about as far as we can go, even though it's about you. I think that's as far as we can go. Bum.
I thought it'd just be interesting for people to hear me now after what had happened, and following your conversation on prescribed medications, etc.
Yes.
I think I'm a totally different person that called you the other night, and definitely different to the person that did what he did the night before that.
You sound a lot calmer.
I feel a lot calmer. I feel happier in myself.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to last, but at the moment I'm embracing it. And what happened the other night, it's given me a kick up the bum to see how many people that are hurt and worried, and do you know what I mean? I couldn't do that without the medications I'm being given.
Yeah, no.
So
exactly.
They are overprescribed, I think.
Yeah,
and
I genuinely believe that they are. I believe that, and it's.
Yeah,
but I don't think there's a big conspiracy. The companies make money out of it, but doctors quite often they've only got 10 minutes to make an assessment on someone.
Also, how long does it take to refer someone for therapy?
Oh, therapy. In some areas you can get it straight away. Some it can take months. Yeah, go on.
So I was asking for help before I took the first overdose I took several months ago. I was asking for help. And I said they said I'd be referred. I was waiting and nothing. And then I did what I did, and they couldn't jump quick enough. Yeah. But then they also let me down by using those medications that I can't get my words out sometimes. Sorry.
Yeah,
the medications I believe the medications are good, but they need to be used in the correct manner.
Well, yeah, and they don't work for everyone, and they should be used in conjunction with
different medications for different people.
Yeah.
But I'm good. I'm happy, and so
I'm glad to hear it.
And to you personally, I mean, I've thanked everyone, but to you personally, I'm sorry for the putting that huge sting on you.
Yeah, thank you.
You shouldn't, now I'm in my right mind, I can say, I'm so sorry.
That was unfair.
If someone did that to me, I would not be happy. I would do everything I can like you did, but I would
Okay.
What-
But you know,
responsibility?
you know, it happened, and I'm glad you're still alive, and I'm glad that you know we're cool, Jamie. We are cool. Is
I'm
what I'm
just
saying.
honestly not sure why I sent you that message, because the only I put goodbye on Facebook and I sent you that message, and that was it.
Well, there was something going on in the back of your head. I'm glad you're alive, brother.
Thank you. I'm glad to be alive, so I can just add one more person to your listening figures. You know, every little helps.
We need every little helps, Jamie, even the racists and the Nazis. 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Yes, Keith.
Good evening.
Good evening, Keith.
So I don't want to belittle, like, you know, the call you had previously. I mean, you know, that was amazing, and you know, you've done really amazing things. But I wanted to think about someone who could walk on stage, and make people laugh without doing anything.
Yeah.
It's Jerry Sadowitz.
Give me 20 seconds with that.
What are you thinking about for 20 seconds, or you want me to do 20 seconds of Jerry Sadowitz?
No, don't
material?
even do 5 seconds of Jerry. I'm thinking. Jerry Sadowitz is a very, very, very funny man. I mean, very funny. He's also incredibly offensive. He did some bits and pieces on the 11 o'clock show, and I very nearly got him to come on to Absolute and do an interview, and then he's a very private man. We nearly went out for lunch, and then he cancelled it. He's very private. And I've seen him do shows, and I've seen half the audience get up and walk out. And I think he's brilliant. I think he's absolutely brilliant, and he's an amazing magician. But I don't think he fits. I don't believe he fits this criteria, Keith. I think he has to do stuff. I can't. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen him, but him walking out and doing nothing, nah, I'm not buying that.
Well, I saw him a few years back, and he walked out on stage at the Leicester Square Theatre in a pink dressing gown.
Yeah.
Smoking a big cigar.
Yes.
In a long blonde wig.
Yes. That's doing quite a lot. That's not doing nothing. That's doing quite a lot.
No, but he walked out, he just walked out pretending to be Jimmy Savile. And I mean...
Hey, Kath, you ain't, that ain't even the start of how offensive Sadowitz gets. That's nothing. That is nothing.
Weren't you recalling that? Isn't that what you were laughing at?
But you said someone who does nothing to get a laugh.
That's doing something. He's doing an impression.
Yeah, but it was minimal effort on his part. You know his act. You know how absolutely hardcore he is.
Yeah, but that's still he's gone out. He's done it. That's doing an impression. I cannot, Keith. I cannot. And this is not in any way a criticism of Mr. Sadowitz. I say I think he's absolutely brilliant. He's got balls of steel, and it's him walking out as Savile to start an hour-long show. If he's starting from that point, imagine where he's going to end up. He is brilliant, but he's done an impression, Keith. You can't have that. There's not many. I think we've got it. I think we've got the list. Howard, Morecambe, Bobby Ball, Tommy Cooper, Julie Walters, Laurel and Hardy. That's it.
What about Andy Kaufman?
I tell you what, there's a very, very funny clip, and this doesn't quite fit the criteria. Do you know the Scottish comedian Phil Kay? Phil Kay?
Yes.
He was kind of going to be big, and then he didn't, right? He had a brilliant gag, right? He'd do his set, and it was like stand-up, but it was very surreal kind of stand-up. Mm-hmm. And it went something like, right, now I'm going to go, but I'm only going to go when there's silence, okay? So you can... I just want to walk off in silence. You cannot make a sound, right? So and he would just stand there trying to get the audience to be quiet, and they were wetting themselves laughing, and it would die down, and he'd go to leave, and they start laughing, he'd go... And it was just... And it could go on for 10 minutes.
Because it's so uncomfortable.
Oh, it was majestic. What a brilliant way to end a set. You end a set, you want to walk off to applause and cheers and stuff. I'm only going to walk off when there's silence. You've got... No, you're doing it. So, and it would go on for ages. It was just delicious. I mean, the opposite of kind of what we're talking about here, but just delicious. I should see if he's around to come on to the show, because he's very funny.
I went to see Phil Kay in Glasgow once.
Yeah.
I was there for work, and I saw that Phil Kay was performing somewhere. And I was like, I used to love him in the 90s, and this was like sort of mid-2000s, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to go and see him. So I went. I turned up in this pub, and I got there early. I had a drink, and it was a really probably one of the most difficult gigs I've ever seen any comedian do.
Yeah, because
people didn't really know him, and there was like this sort of group of people who were just like talking through the whole gig, and he kind of worked through his material, and it was like it was just difficult, and the whole time I was just like, please, just like shut the up, just let him get through it, and it was hard work, but he got through it, and personally, I enjoyed it, but I just thought it was a little bit unfair from the people who were there in the gig at the same time.
Yeah, that's rude, Keith. That's bad manners. That's what that is. It was bad manners, the group that were doing that. Last 20 minutes of the show, dear listener. Get on Twitter. Ian, don't try and troll Paul Watson. You'll get wrecked as bad as Dom Jolly. You're not coming from a position of strength here, dude. I'm not trying to troll him. Free speech, anyone?
The radio show for people who know the best part of the day is the night.
Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
5 gold rings!
Oh.
Yep.
That reminds me.
Hello.
Bit of business. You wanted to mention the pods.
Oh, I wanted to mention that an hour ago. I don't know what I wanted to say about the pods.
Oh, that we've worked out how to rig the system.
I was going to say... Anyway, we've released... we're going to start doing, maybe every day, maybe every other day, little bonus pods that we just... On a whim, if I come in and I'm feeling sprightly or Catherine's feeling perky, we will encourage the other one to go into a little sound booth and record a little 7, 10, 12-minute pod. Just, whatever. So it'll be stuff that hasn't been broadcast on the show that you won't have heard. It's just us chatting, and it might be us talking about... what we've got coming up in the show, or what we might have coming up in the week, or setting up stuff. It might be something, it might be nothing, I don't know. It might develop into something bigger, or it might fizzle out into nothing. I don't know, but I just was just thinking that this is the best, because I was talking at the university the other day, and I came up with the line, and as I said it, I thought, well, that sounds a bit cheesy, but actually it's true. This is the best job. This is the best job in the world. I get paid handsomely, not masses, but I get paid very, very well to sit here for 3 hours and talk to people on Periscope, and talk to you, dear listener. Maybe you're in your bed, you're in your bath, you're in your car, you're in your truck, you're at work. I don't know where you are. Or you're at your desk. I get paid to talk to you, and we also do the rabbit hole, which is a little thing that we do on our own, and that might turn a few quid at some point. Coming to Manchester soon, don't forget. And talking's easy, so let's do a bit more of it. So we're going to start doing little bonus podcasts. We did one today. I suspect we might do one tomorrow, because we're interviewing Bernie Clifton. So we'll be in the studio, so we might as well just record some bits and pieces as well. I'm going for a hearing test tomorrow. Going to get my ears checked out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Boots, isn't it? They do it for free.
It's a good idea.
So we're doing that, and yeah, we found out how to rig the iTunes chart. 'Cause I was going through the iTunes chart, and this podcast, we've been focusing on the Rabbit Show a bit. And we mustn't forget this, because this is the day job. This is the wage. This is the thing that pays the mortgage and feeds the kids. Okay, the Rabbit Hole is lovely, but that's kind of a nice little sideline. This is the job, and I must never forget that. And I've not been plugging these pods as much as I'd like to. And I'm scratching my head a bit with these podcasts, because we get about 8,000 downloads a show, something like that. And it was growing, and then it got to about 8,500, and it sort of stopped at that, and we've sort of plateaued, and I don't know what we can do to increase that. We need, how we find a new audience, so any suggestions would be gratefully appreciated. But I noticed today that we'd dropped out of the top 150 on iTunes. We dropped out of the top 150 on iTunes. So I'm experimenting with other ways of communicating with people. So we've got Periscope, but I was experimenting with Facebook Live today, facebook.com/Iain Lee. And we post them. We can post Rabbit Hole stuff on the Rabbit Hole page, and I've got a record label, and I was experimenting with videos on there and different times of the day, because for the record label, it's mainly Americans that buy our stuff, so you do it later in the day. So I'm kind of enjoying playing around with the old social media. And so I said on the, it was in Costa and Nero, and I said, can you do us a favour on the Facebook Live? Can you do me a favour? If you subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, could you unsubscribe, subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe? So you're doing it twice. You unsubscribe, subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe. Okay, and just to see if that bumps us up the charts a bit. What number are we now?
We were
10. We went up to number 40. Then they got to number 23, then number 12, and then it was number 10 before the show.
Yeah.
Because the iTunes chart is not based on numbers of downloads. It's based on ratings, reviews, and new subscribers. So, if even a few hundred people unsubscribe, imagine 200 people. Unsubscribe, subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe. That's 400 new subscribers. That just pushes it straight up into the charts. It's crazy, isn't it? It's a stupid system. You think it'd just be on numbers, I don't understand why it's not. So there is a daily podcast of this show. There will quite possibly be 2 daily podcasts of the show, the radio show and stuff before. Also, there'll be interviews. The Tommy Cannon interview will go out as a podcast, standalone podcast on its own. You can get it on iTunes. You can get it on Pocket Cast. You can get it on all the usual places. And we're mentioning the Rabbit Hole. It's another little show we do. It's a pre-recorded phoning show recorded live in front of a live studio audience. And the next one, I think, is March the 26th. The Sunday is in London. And we've sold half the tickets for that. And then we're going to Manchester on Saturday, May the 6th at the 3 Minute Theatre, which apparently, I don't know it, but a friend of mine has found it, and apparently it's a beautiful little theatre. It only holds 65, so it'll be a nice, intimate. They've got strong Wi-Fi. God, they've got strong Wi-Fi. I'm hoping they've got people who know what they're doing as well. And so we're going to go and record there. There are tickets available for both. The Manchester tickets have to be a little bit more because we've got to pay for petrol and a hotel. ticketsource.co.uk/Iain, IAIN-Lee. ticketsource.co.uk/Iain-Lee. If you want to buy some tickets for that. Is the thing. I've not looked in any of the... Oh, boobs. Well, no, saying that, I did read the... Oh, here we go. Someone's doing a selfie with the Pope. You seen that? You seen that? That's weird. Look at that picture. A kid with the Pope.
Oh yeah, what's he taking?
It's a kid reaching around for a Pope, but not the first time. Oi! The Pope's patience was pushed to the limit when a cheeky boy interrupted a speech to take a selfie. The pontiff was visiting the Church of St Mary Josepha of the Heart of Jesus in Rome when the lad reached from behind to grab a picture. Pope Francis is known... Now, I don't understand this sentence.
Go on.
Pope Francis is known to have a strong selfie game.
Oh. It means that he's not averse to having a selfie taken and knows his angles. And
regularly posts pictures to his own Instagram account, Faniscus, which has 3.6 million followers.
Gosh.
Hey! Oh, brilliant! Let's get her in. Natasha Bedingfield's coming back.
Oh, hurrah.
Natasha Bedingfield has promised to retake her pop ground this year with the release of a 4th CD. Hey, here we go.
A CD. How quaint.
The singer, sister of dance star Daniel, I gotta get through this, says she's close to delivering a new album. While her solo career has stalled, she's been penning tunes for others, including Nicki Minaj.
Oh.
Nicki Minaj-a-Trois is what I would call an album if I were to release one, and it was full of Nicki Minaj songs. She'd planned to release the album in 2015, but it was shelved until now. Speaking at the Warner Music After Party, she said, I'm always doing stuff under the radar, and I really care a lot about my fans. Don't get her on the show. So it's all about just getting to that point, and it'll explode. I did read the Mail and the Sun today, and there's not a lot. There's not a lot in there, really. What you got planned for tomorrow, Boyles?
Tomorrow, I've got to go and tune my dad's guitar.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's not played it for a while. He broke his finger. So.
Is that when he broke his ribs?
No, that was another occasion.
Right.
I can't remember how he
What
did that.
What guitar
one.
is it? Electric? Acoustic?
No, he's got an acoustic guitar, and it's not a very good one. And it's got very, very hard strings. So.
Why does he want to play guitar?
Because he's always wanted to. He's always been a music fan, and I said, crack on, Dad.
Yeah.
Because shoulda, woulda, coulda is a waste of time, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good song, that.
It was all right.
Who was that? That was Beverly
Shoulda,
Knight.
woulda, yep.
Beverly Knight.
And I had a guitar, and I encouraged him.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah, I'm going to go and do that. I'll probably make a podcast or 3. And try and fit in some sleep at some point.
How romantic is this? Shopper Anne Russell proposed to boyfriend Robin in his favourite discount store. Anne, 48, popped the question in B&M's.
Oh.
B&M's. You see, I've never seen a B&M store, but I've seen the trucks. Robin said, I walked in for a frying pan, came out with a fiancé. Anne from Dartford in Kent said, it was perfect.
Oh, she just felt the moment.
B&M's. What does that stand for?
I think it's a name. I think it's surnames.
Yeah, B&Q is Block and Quail.
Let me look. B&M, European retail value, blah, blah, blah. Billington and Mayman.
A builder... Here you go, Kath, this is one for you. A builder who kept calling in sick...
What?
After partying too hard... has been given a celebration cake for working 5 days in a row.
I mean, that is the pot calling the kettle a hypochondriac, isn't it?
Whoa, who are you talking to?
You.
When was the last time I had a day off sick?
When was the last time I had a day off sick?
The other day?
No.
Yes, I did.
No, me.
It was Jake Mosley's first full week of working. You see, if I'd never had that day off sick, I would have lost my voice and I'd have had to have 2 weeks off.
I'm not challenging you for it. You're suggesting I'm sick now, and I've not had a day off sick since we came here.
Not here you haven't, because you know that this is commercial. It's not the BBC where you can get away with that kind of stuff.
Well, also, I have a less forward-facing
Your contract
job
runs
here.
out in like a week or something, doesn't it? So you've got to keep coming in. But I reckon, second week of March, I'm not feeling too well.
No.
I'm not feeling too well. I don't think I'll be able to make it in for
What's
April.
that voice?
That's your vibe. It was Jake Mosley's first full week of working since he started his new job 3 months ago. And after blowing out the candles on the cake from his colleagues, the laughing labourer said, I've turned over a new leaf now. The cake was funny, but it also made me realise I finally got to get my arse in gear. Jake, 20, had missed every Monday and Tuesday with extreme hangovers since joining the Bristol firm. He added, I guess I do go out a bit too much at the weekends. Sometimes I'd only manage to make it into work on a Wednesday. Workmate Jack McGanity, 25, who presented Jake with the cake, did a little in front of other colleagues. That was a good act. Rolf Harris, Jake the Peg. He bought that off a fella, that act. He saw a fella doing it in a nightclub in Australia, and he said to the fella afterwards, yeah, that act, and the bloke went, it's not working for me, I can't. And Rolf said, I'll buy it off you, I'll buy the act off you, I'll take it, I think I can make that work. And he did, he made it. It's a brilliant act.
The extra leg?
Did a little It's a brilliant act. You know, whatever you think of Rolf, that is a brilliant act.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Bernie Clifton with the Comedy Ostrich. That's a brilliant act.
Yeah. And the Norman Collier with the cutting out microphone.
Yeah. Boss, Matt Bishop, 35, explained he kept Jake on despite his rotten attendance because he was a great worker when he's here. He had it. It's normal for labourers in the construction. I'm being a bit elitist there. He might be posh. It's normal for labourers in the construction industry to do what they want. Jake never completed a full week, but I prefer taking a more relaxed approach. It's important to have a happy outlook and remain positive. Guys, peace and love. We've seen the dark side tonight. We've seen the light side. We've seen the dark side. Let's wallow in the light. Remember, just a few hours ago, we were inviting Tommy Cannon of Cannon and Ball on the show, and boy, oh boy, wasn't it delight. More delights abound with Bernie Clifton coming up later on in the week. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we've got Chris Difford from Squeeze. So my homework, get this, my homework tomorrow is trying to remember the time I saw Squeeze supporting the Kinks at Alexandra Palace and listening to Squeeze records. It really is the ideal job. Thank you, Edward. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, dear listener, and to all the new listeners. I appreciate you listening, even though some of you think the show is a load of old crud. Thank you very much indeed. Don't forget the podcast, 2 Mics Up Next. We're back tonight at 10 o'clock. Till then, ta-ta.
Talk Radio.
Join the Talk Nation.
Dial up and talk radio.
We'll get you talking.